Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the United Stand. We've got a watch-along. It's Manchester United against Newcastle. It's their first game since the 11th of December and today is the 27th. So very excited to have Manchester United back. We've also got the team news for you as well as Manchester United take on Newcastle in what is a must-win game for United. We have to win. We're fully aware of that. And a couple of surprises in the team as well. Varane comes back in for Lindelof. Harry Maguire obviously will never get dropped, so don't ever think that will happen. Even under a new manager, he will still get picked. We've had this chat before. I personally think that Maguire is very fortunate. I think Eric Bailly and Lindelof are as good as him, but Maguire always starts. Telles and Dalot keep their places at fullback. McTominay and Fred, obviously De Gea and goal, Varane with Maguire, McTominay and Fred, Rashford and Bruno, Greenwood and Ronaldo. So Sancho goes to the bench, which again, let's not just highlight Maguire here. I certainly think that that Marcus Rashford is very fortunate to be starting games for Manchester United, especially over Jadon Sancho. I mean, maybe you've got to be honest and say that, look, who came back training first, who had COVID, who had symptoms. If Sancho's only, if Sancho's one of those people, then maybe his recovery is not there. But Mason Greenwood starting is exciting. I don't know why Rashford is starting. He shouldn't be starting on form over Sancho, but we don't know the impact. What I do know is that, and I predicted this in the preview, and I'm very excited about this today. So in no way am I being negative. I'm just talking frankly about the team. In no way was this going to be it's interesting, isn't it? We spoke about this with the international break. It does impact the manager decision because when we played Norwich on the Saturday, we were terrible. And we were going to play Brentford on the Tuesday, and he was going to make 3 changes. Now, 2 weeks and 2.5 weeks later, he's actually made 2 changes instead of 3. But one of those changes wouldn't have been happening. Varane wouldn't have played against Brentford. So the rumour was that Luke Shaw and Van der Beek were going to start against Brentford, but they miss out now 2 weeks later because of 2 weeks. So it is interesting. Van der Beek was meant to be starting against Brentford. Luke Shaw was meant to be starting against Brentford. And there was even a rumour that Cavani would start. But there's also this rumour that Cavani's going to leave. So I wouldn't have expected him to start. So, yeah, look, I don't really know what to say. I mean, I'm very excited to see Manchester United play. I think we will win tonight. I think we have to win tonight. McKenna's not there anymore. Carrick's not there anymore. And Ollie's not there anymore. This is Ralph Rangnick. And Shaham says, same old favoritism. Things don't change. I think you've got to be very careful going down that road, to be honest with you. We do have a new manager. He's changed his fullbacks. Life and football echo each other. They don't always go the way you want them to. And therefore, the fullbacks have changed. Some people are very happy with that. Midfield hasn't changed. Rashford and Maguire are still playing. That pisses a lot of people off. There could be a lot of reasons for this, says Joshua Bowwater. Maybe certain people who are struggling for fitness after COVID or a break from training. And I think that's probably going to be the answer with Sancho. Zayn Miasi's laughing his head off. Zayn, I wouldn't laugh too much because basically this time next week we'll be a point ahead of you. And you can clip that. We win our next 3. You lose to City. We're ahead of you. And we've got a game in hand. I figured out why Ollie didn't use Donny. Their names rhymed. Ollie and Donny. Also, any predictions, says Jack. I mean, I think we will beat Newcastle. I always worry with United. Looking at the league table there, we've got 27 points. We win today. We go back up to 5th. Obviously, we are 8 points off Arsenal. But we've got 3 games in hand. And by the time we play Wolves next week, they might have lost to Man City and we'll have a game in hand. But I think that it's fair to say that he's been there long enough now that he's clearly going to go with McTominay and Fred. Now, that surprises me. It really does. But are they playing the same way they did under Ollie? And the reality is Fred was many people's man of the match against Crystal Palace. I certainly thought against Norwich, they weren't the worst 2 players on the pitch. But I do think they always have given any team a chance because I don't think they win many midfield battles, and they've got to do that today. If we can start to win midfield battles, we'll start to put teams like Newcastle away. We couldn't do that against Norwich. We need to do that today. I didn't expect to see Donny starting. I think it's going to be more interesting when Pogba comes back, where he uses him, because maybe he'll use Pogba in those positions. But we need to see a big game from Bruno today. We really do. Big shout out. Drawty's in my ear. And we've got new graphics for you now, as you can see there. That's it's not working properly, but it will get sorted. But that is the tweet with the team of the lineup for you on the screen there. Brian says, get your super chats in as well. You can do that through the $, and make sure you give us a subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Certainly want to get your reactions to the team news. So the team is De Gea, Delo, Varane, Maguire, Telles, McTominay and Fred, Bruno and Rashford, Greenwood and Ronaldo. So Jadon Sancho out of the team and Victor Lindelof out of the team from the Norwich game. Brian says, give Ranić credit for changing the fullbacks. That's a good start, something Ollie didn't do. He's not going to change for everything overnight. Did he change the fullbacks though, Brian? Did he change the fullbacks? Or did he just pick the same fullbacks that Carrick picked when we played Arsenal at home because Wan-Bissaka was injured and Luke Shaw had concussion? Now, I don't remember. I definitely Luke Shaw missed the Arsenal game with concussion. I think Delo missed the Arsenal game with injury as well. So has he changed the fullbacks, or is he just sticking with the team that Carrick picked? Because ultimately that's what he's done. Hi, Mark. Look the channel. Do you think Ralph has changed to a more wide formation to suit our wingers? Says Anshaman. Well, looking forward to seeing that. And welcome to the members club, Scott Brown. You can do that by clicking the join button. Thank you very much for your support. And also, I forgot, I have been live a couple of times yesterday, but Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you're having a fantastic Christmas. And let's hope that we now are over the postponements, because we can win tonight, win on Thursday night, and then next Monday we play Wolves and start winning a few games. So that's what we want to see. Sean Turner says, for me, Rashford is starting to fall in the McFred category now. For me, Sancho has been one of our best players in the last few games. Sean, I'm going to say something brave here. I'm going to say something very brave. Get me a bravery award, because I think Rashford is playing over Sancho because Sancho has a fitness issue. I do not think this is happening because Sancho has been dropped. I personally think that it's to do with something else. Man United have tweeted about slow sports news at Man United 2 minutes ago. They've tweeted with a French flag and eyes. This means Varane is starting, which we've known for 10 minutes. I always forget that Man United don't officially announce the news till 7 o'clock, whereas we're talking about the team because we know what the team is. It's De Gea in goal. It's Delo, Varane, Maguire, and Telles. It's McTominay and Fred. It's Rashford and Bruno, and it's Greenwood and Ronaldo. And I think that, but I think that is important as well. Rashford needs to stop being played up front with Ronaldo because he's not able to do it. Could we be playing a 4-2-3-1? We might be. We might not be playing the 4-2-2-2. All the Rashford haters sit down, says YUFC. You can want to knock Rashford down, but he will all rise and silence the haters. I don't think it's about hate, YUFC. I think there's a valid point here. And I'm a big fan of Rashford. He's always been one of my favourite players. But I did this with Martial last year, so I'm not going to not do it with Rashford. He's definitely not playing well at the moment. I want him to play well. I want him to, prove the critics wrong. But he's not playing well at the moment. And the same with Harry Maguire. He starts every single game. I actually think Lindelof and Bailly have got every right to be pissed off because he's no better than Bailly and Lindelof on form. And some would say he's worse. Yet he starts every game because he wears the captain's armband and he cost 80 million quid. Well, that was Ollie who paid 80 million pounds for him. This is Ralph Ranić. Like, I would love to see Varane playing with Lindelof or Varane playing with Eric Bailly and afforded the opportunities that Maguire gets. And I think it's the same with Rashford. Does Rashford deserve to start every single game just because he's Marcus Rashford? And I don't think his ability or Maguire's ability has that sort of money in the bank, to be honest with you. But we don't know why Sancho's not playing. Jimmy Garner says, friendly reminder that managers aren't here to pick your favourite players. They are here to win games. Chances are you don't know better than Ranić, says Jimmy. Yeah, you might be right. We've done that one as well. This could be a painful night for us, especially if we get the inevitable Lascelles-Clark pairing, says Stephen. And Joshua Adams says, haven't been this excited for a Man United game for a while. It's been too long. Can't wait for kickoff. I hope you and your family had a nice Christmas. I hope you did as well, Joshua, who's been a member for 3 months. New graphics for the Super Chats on the screen as well now. We can get your Super Chats on the screen like we do when we have the forum. Brand new bit of technology for you. Was meant to be in for the new year, but we'll give it you for Christmas. So if you do Super Chats, we can get them up on the screen now, which is nice. Ranić have the balls Arteta does to strip Harry, says Bijou. I mean, balls and stripping Harry just doesn't do what I think you're trying to do there. It's sending me in a totally different direction. Where did Rashford last play well, says Sean Turner. Thank you very much. What's the team? So the lineup is out. Some people like to do it slow sports news versus Manchester United. We did it 10 minutes ago. We know what the Manchester United team is, but officially I can give you the bench now. So De Gea, Maguire, not Wan-Bissaka, De Gea, Maguire, Dalot, Telles and Varane, McTominay and Fred, Bruno and Rashford, Greenwood and Ronaldo is your team. And then your bench is Dean Henderson, Phil Jones, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Matic, Van der Beek, Cavani, Erlanger and Sancho. So Sancho makes the bench. No bench place for Martial. No bench place for Eric Bailly. No bench place for Juan Mata or Jesse Lingard. So, interesting, isn't it? Erlanger. I mean, you know what? I'm excited that Erlanger is on the bench over Lingard and Mata. I think that is really big, really news. For whatever reason, I think that's really good because that is a pathway to the first team for young players. And I'm going to tweet it. So no Lingard or Mata on the bench. Pathway to the first team for young players. There to see. And it's good to see as well. So Erlanger makes the bench with Sancho, Cavani. They're the attacking options. Van der Beek and Matic are the midfield options. Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Phil Jones, the defensive options. No idea what the story is with Eric Bailly. If anybody does, let us know. I don't know what the situation is with why Eric Bailly is not on the bench. Or, in fact, Victor Lindelof. Very good point. Victor Lindelof not on the bench either. So there must be... I think we've got a few problems, haven't we? To be honest with you. I mean, no Lingard, no Lindelof, no Eric Bailly. You'd expect all three of them to be on the bench. Longstaff is starting. Don't know if it's the ginger or garlic, but I hope we put on a show tonight, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. I'll put a show on for you, don't worry. No beer, Lindelof on the bench. Injury, says ASJ. I'm sure we'll get some comments from Rangit coming up in the next half an hour. Ross says, I hope you and the family had an amazing Christmas and I hope you're well. Come on, you Reds. Can't wait for this match. Thank you very much. Rangix has the balls. No, I've done that one from Bijou and I'm not reading it again. If you want to get your super chats in, we can now put them up on the screen for you. Does Ralphie have faith in Eric and Donny? I mean, bottom 5-7 teams would be appropriate to boost and instill confidence in them. Remember, we have got 3 games in 7 days. We play Wolves a week tonight at 8 o'clock and we're playing Burnley on Thursday. So you'd hope to see some rotation. I certainly think Rangnick is a manager that likes to do things his way. I don't really feel at the moment he's doing it. I think that if I was to just double check something here. So what did we beat Arsenal? Was it 3-2? So let me read out the lineup against Arsenal. The starting lineup against Arsenal. No, that's not the one I want. I want that one. Okay. Took me back to 2016 there. So our lineup against Arsenal which was Carrick's last match. De Gea, Dalot, Lindelof, Maguire, Telles. Well, Varane's back. Carrick would have picked him. So it's exactly the same back 5. McTominay and Fred, exactly the same back 7. Rashford, Bruno, Ronaldo, Sancho. So basically, the only difference between the team that Carrick picked in his last game and the team that Rangnick has picked tonight is Varane for Lindelof. Well, Varane wasn't fit, so Carrick couldn't pick him, or otherwise he would have done. And Greenwood in for Sancho, which could be to do with COVID issues. So, maybe Sancho's had COVID and he's just recovering. So Rangnick, for me, is still not picking his team. I still think he's, keeping the momentum of the Carrick era going, basically. So, yeah, I don't think Sancho's dropped. A lot of people talking about it. I'll be very surprised if Rangnick doesn't come out and say something like, we've had a few players who've had a bit of a hangover from COVID, of which Donny van der Beek was rumoured to be one of those. I can't tell you who's had COVID and who's not had COVID, but I know that the players that were rumoured to have it, Harry Maguire was one, Van der Beek was another one, and I think Jadon Sancho was one of them as well. So, maybe that's a reason why these players aren't playing. Maguire keeps getting back into the team so easily. It's so ridiculous just because he's captain. This is interesting. This is from the That's Football Twitter account. I was just going to check the Newcastle team. So the Newcastle team to face Manchester United is Shaw, Lascelles, Manquillo, Shelvey, Longstaff, Joel Linton, Fraser, St. Maximin and Wilson. And look, they are shite. They are really shite. But they've got more firepower than Norwich. And if we play like we did against Norwich, then they've got, Callum Wilson, he can score a goal. St. Maximin is an interesting player. He could give one of our fullbacks a difficult time. We've got to win tonight, but it might not be a walk in the park. We'll have to wait and see. I think you've got to look at it and go, you know what? We could come out firing, or this 2 weeks could make us quite unstable. So there we go. Thank you for the super chat by Soham. It doesn't say anything because he didn't say anything. He just did a super chat. So thank you very much. We should win 4 or 5-0, says Rishi. My score prediction is that we will get a lot of games. I said this in the preview. Newcastle have scored more goals at home than I think everybody else in the bottom 10. But they've also conceded more goals than everybody in the league at home. So we should get a high-scoring game. And it's Christmas. So it's Christmas. So we should get a lot of goals. That's normally what happens on the Boxing Day equivalent game. So, yeah, let's hope that we do. James Porter says he thinks it's a 4-2-3-1. It could be, which again harks back to the Carrick and Ollie days, doesn't it? It's a bit like the Carrick team. Is it going to be a little bit like that with Rashford off the left? Irishman says, Happy Christmas, Mark. Happy Christmas to Irishmen and Englishmen and Scottishmen. And that was the joke. Anyway, I sort of agree with you. Really hoping that Greenwood is in that number 9 role, says Benjamin. I think, as a prediction, tonight, I think I'm going to predict that we are playing a 4-2-3-1. And the reason for that is I don't think we're going to be playing the 4-2-2-2 because I don't think it worked particularly well away from home against Norwich. And Newcastle, I think, are better than Norwich. So I don't think we're playing a 4-2-2. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, if you're going to play Greenwood up front with Ronaldo, Rashford's not a number 10. And 2, I don't think we played particularly well with it against Norwich. So I think he's going to go back to back 4, 2 holding midfielders, width with Rashford, right width with Greenwood, and Bruno as a 10 with Ronaldo up on his own. But, doesn't really fit in with the way that Rangnick plays, but maybe he will do that. I certainly think we'll play with a higher line. Varane back in the team, we should play with a much higher line. And Varane, despite United being utter shite under the previous manager, when Varane played, we never got pummeled. Like we didn't. I don't think we got smashed. I don't think he played against Leicester. I don't think he played against Liverpool. And I don't think he didn't play against Watford. Phil Jones is our only backup centre-back on the bench. Could the Prince, who was promised, finally make his return tonight, says Joshua Bowwater. Hi, Mark. It's my year sober anniversary. All I want is to watch my team play, says Stephen Atkinson. And fantastic tweet on the screen there by some genius called Mark Goldbridge. Lovely to see such eloquent and on-the-point opinion on there. If you want to get your tweets up, we do something called #AskGoldbridge, which you can also just put a statement in there. It doesn't always have to be a question. And if it's a good one, we'll put it up. I hope you, family and United Stand crew, had great Christmas. Do you think Alvarez would get work permit in the UK? Says Thomas. I don't know. I do not work for the Home Office or the Department for Work and Pensions. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I would imagine he probably will. He would do. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Alvarez because we don't know whether he's another Casido or we don't know whether this is a new change of direction. Joshua Bowwater says, Phil Jones is... We've done that one, sorry, but you can read it if you missed it. Yeah, no worries. Thomas says, yes, he would get a work permit because he was granted one on My Football Manager save. Well, there you go. Breaking news. That looks great. Reflection seems to think we're playing a 4-2-2-2. I don't know. We'll find out when we kick off. really, basically. So let's wait and see. I'm not actually that bothered by the team news, by the way. Like many people, I'm just happy to have Manchester United back. In an alternative universe, we could have easily been in a lockdown, or, Newcastle could have got a COVID outbreak. So I just think tonight, let's just enjoy the football. If this first 11 perform, fair play. If they don't, we've got a bench, Simple as that. And, it's Christmas time, and it's nice to see our club playing, because some Premier League clubs didn't get a Boxing Day fixture yesterday. And we've got this. I think, Burnley haven't played in a while, so I think they'll be desperate to get the game on Thursday. And I think Wolves are having their COVID outbreak at the moment, so they should be back for Monday next week. So I think we'll see 3 games in 7 days, which we desperately need to play. We've got to get into that top 4 as soon as possible. Lindelof has got COVID. Okay, so that's just come out now. Lindelof has got COVID. And Merry Christmas, buddy, says Oliver M. It'd be interesting to see whether Rashi and Green would effectively track back under Alf, which they didn't do under Ollie, says Anshaman. It will be interesting. I've got a bit of a cold. I might have Omicron. Hello, love from Qatar. Early predictions for the World Cup. Don't care about the World Cup, KJK, but I will predict early that France will win it. Yeah. Lee Dixon's right. Lindelof would be benched anyway because Varane is back. So good team, but expected Donny van de Beek to play, says Josh. I definitely did not expect Donny van de Beek to play. And no, I didn't. And Mark Goldbridge always complaining that's why Sancho was dropped, says Ozzy. You make no sense, Ozzy, and I wish I'd never read your troll tweet, your troll message. Please show the starting lineup, says Payne. Well, I can put a request in. Disappointed that... Michael Zimmerman says, I'm disappointed that Shaw has not been picked today. I actually thought he would be picked today, Michael. I think I predicted he would. So I do think Luke Shaw will win that spot back. And I do think that you will see rotation against Burnley because it's only 3 days away. This is the equivalent of what we were going to have to do after Norwich. So we played Norwich on the Saturday night at 5:30, and then we were going to play Brentford on the Tuesday. That's the equivalent of playing Monday night and Thursday. So I think we will see some rotation against Burnley. This will be a resolute and tough Newcastle side tonight, says Joseph. Incoming 6-0 win. Hi, Mark. My big brother flew from the US to Germany to visit me for Christmas. Please call Lyndon a prat. Lyndon, you're a prat. There you go. I was thinking about it, and, it's like that. Sometimes when I'm asked to call someone a prat, I'm a bit like in Gladiator. I sort of think about it. And on that one, I thought, yes. So there you go. Razor Sharp says Luke Shaw should be playing for QPR. Not sure about that one. I like Luke Shaw, but I don't mind rotation. And Tellez did play well against Norwich. So, yeah. I haven't changed my mind, by the way. I still think we'll win. And it's a long old trip up to Newcastle. We've got Adam up there. He'll be doing his vlog and everything after the game. And we've got the fan forum back as well. So we're back and ready to give you some action tonight on United Stand. Which is why I just stand it up. Kiss me under the mistletoe. Pour out the wine and let the good times flow. What a classic. Elton John and Kevin De Bruyne. I'm calm about anything Ranić would pick. These players will play way different and everyone deserves another chance. T-Mac, I agree. I don't always have to agree with the chat, but I do agree with you on that. Clean slate. A clean slate. If McTominay scores tonight, I'll celebrate it. I would have celebrated it anyway, but I'll really mean it. Like, I think under Ollie, I just was fed up with McTominay and Fred. And of course I wanted them to score any United goals there to celebrate. But, did I really think they were good enough to play for United? No, because they've been crap for a long time. But you're right. Under a new manager, a genuine clean slate is a genuine clean slate. And I'm not sure some of our fans feel like that. But I do, because otherwise that's an agenda. And I don't carry an agenda. New manager, new coaching should mean, different performances. Hoping for a better team performance tonight. Merry Christmas to you, says Lily Rain. Oh, I've got a bit of a cold brewing. Will Ollie retire or coach again like he did last summer? Don't care, Gertchen. With all due respect, in a very nice way, I don't really care about the previous manager. And as you might note, I have started referring him to as previous manager, because I think we mention the manager formerly known as Manchester United manager too much. Glad to have United back. Cheers to the geese pressing content, and thanks for the content, Mark. Your legends is K Flow, and that's my fault. Sorry. And Merry Christmas, and glad to see the green screen back. The disco light room gave me epilepsy. Party bridge, says Daniel Lugo. And how would we line up with one CDM, if at all, says Amber? We can't until we buy one. Charlie Willis, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. You're very welcome. Mark, please call my mate Marcus Silva at Pratt. Much love from Sweden, says S1986. And I'm watching from America, says London. Could you do a time check or two near the start so I can match you to the video, please? Thanks. Regards, Carl. But that's why we have a bloody timer. That's what the timer's there for. Lindelof better than Varane for me, says Ryan Williams. Okay. Quite controversial, but we'll move on from that one. I'm just trying to find out if we can get you some direct quotes from Rangnick, because they will come out at some point about the team. And I did suspect this as well, that the reason we've got no Lindelof or Eric Bailly on the bench, we've already heard that Lindelof has got the COVID, and maybe that'll be the case with Eric Bailly as well. Don't know, but Ralph Rangnick has confirmed that Victor Lindelof is absent from the matchday squad against Newcastle as he tested positive for COVID-19, and we wish you a speedy recovery. Wouldn't have been playing anyway. We don't know what the story is with Eric Bailly. We don't know what the story is with Lingard or Mata, who are not on the bench either. And obviously we don't know why Sancho's been dropped from the Norwich game, but there was a rumour going around that he was one of the players that had COVID a couple of weeks ago. So maybe his fitness levels have had to drop a little bit. We don't know. Certainly, I think if you've been suffering, although Harry Maguire was rumoured to have it and he's playing, so different players, different recoveries, I suppose. But I certainly don't think on the face of it you could really justify the dropping Jadon Sancho and starting Marcus Rashford based on the Norwich performance. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. But maybe we'll get some comments about that as we move closer towards the kickoff of the game. Not sure why Lindelof's birder is Ryan Williams, says Sean Miller. And cheers from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I've watched Alvarez for a while here in South America, says Flavio. And he's a great player. I'm hoping for a win tonight, says Flavio. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Alvarez, of course. As I've said, no guarantees. Daniel Lugo, welcome to the Members Club. You can do that by clicking the join button if you want to support the channel and get your little badge next to your name. And nice to have you back, Mark. It's my birthday today, and I hope we score a few. So sorry, we've got to win. I know we were awful against Norwich, and there's no guarantees with United ever, but we've got to win tonight. It wouldn't be a disaster. Of course, it wouldn't be a disaster, but it'd be very disappointing not to win. We've got to win today. And also, what you been drinking for Goldbridge? You're better than that. I'll drink what I want, Tom. I'll drink what I want. It's going in my mouth, not yours. So tired of McFred, says Stephen Edge. To be honest, if you were saying that 2 months ago, Stephen, I'd say you're absolutely spot on. You're on point, Stephen Edge. But I don't really have a massive problem with McTominay and Fred playing, because either they become players that are good enough to play for Manchester United or they don't. If Rangnick feels that they are and then has to discover that they're not, then that's something he will discover. If he believes they are good enough and can turn them into good players, then we'll benefit from that as well. I do wonder what Donny's future is, though. He can't just keep putting Donny van de Beek on the bench because Donny will leave. He can keep putting on the bench, but he will leave. So, we had that story a couple of weeks ago that Rangnick values Donny and he doesn't want him to leave. Well, why is he not starting games? So, he's got to start picking him at some point. How many goals, assists do you think Ronaldo is going to get? Says Silo. Got no idea. I'm no good at that sort of thing. Hopefully we will see a bit of Sue tonight. And this feels like a 3-0 today. Defence more solid with Varane, who can keep an eye on Maguire. Might be a game that Rashford does something. You know what? At some point, Marcus Rashford's going to score a worldie. He's been playing not very good for so long now. He's too good of a player not to do something soon. So yeah, I think, maybe tonight will be the night for Rashford. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. You're very welcome on the United Stand. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m. Obviously, all the games, previews, transfer news, January transfer windows coming. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Could you still call the players' names like Varane, Rashi? It's just funny, says Sunday. I'll try, but it was very much a previous manager style, wasn't it? The artist formerly known as the Manchester United manager. Tested positive on Christmas Day, been stuck in self-isolation, but happy to be back watching the United Stand, says FIFA Crazy. I'm sure there are a few of you who are testing positive at the moment. If you are, first of all, I hope that you are well. I mean, Levin's not on today because he's not well. And we wish Levin a full recovery with that. There's a lot of colds. There's obviously Omicron. There's a lot of illness going around at Christmas. And if you have got any illness, obviously, we're not exclusively talking about COVID sufferers, then I hope that you rest up and are feeling better soon. Justin Witzke is a new member of the United Stand Members Club. Welcome, Justin. That's just come in. Get well soon, Levin. Nice to see that. To be honest with you, I've got to be honest. I've got a bit of a cold brewing, but I've just been away for a few days, and my goddaughter, actually, she's my niece. She's hardly been able to talk with a sore throat and a cold. She was testing and she didn't have it, but I don't know whether that's what I've picked up from being in that house for a couple of days, or I've been in pubs and all sorts. So I might have Omicron, but I just haven't tested yet. So because I'm not going anywhere for the next couple of days, so I won't test until Wednesday anyway. Oh, it's all going off in the Bournemouth QPR game. Shirts and handbags. Referee just monitors it all. Gary Cahill's in to break it all up. Okay. If Donny don't start Thursday, he's gone in January. He's going to sit on the bench anymore. He's not going to do it, says Sean Turner. And I have to disagree, new manager or not, McFred out, says Sean Turner. Hey, you know what? I don't disagree with you. I think you might get proved right on it, but ultimately, let's just wait and see. The thing that always worries me about United is that I think any team can give us a game because I don't think we dominate the midfield enough. Let's see what we can do today. But we're spending a lot of time talking about Rashford, Maguire, McTominay and Fred. We probably should be talking about Bruno a little bit. Bruno is a player that's probably my favourite player with this man. And he hasn't performed particularly well this season. And we need to see a big performance from Bruno tonight. That's the player I'm hoping is going to put in a performance. I can't see Rangnick transforming this team unless something happens in January. Top four is between Spurs and Arsenal, says 58 Go. You're having a bloody laugh. You're having a laugh. I tell you what, I'll bloody love it if we're above Arsenal this time next week because they're giving it the big one. 8 points this, 8 points that. Zayn Miassi and his rolling stickers. I'm telling you now, we've got a game against Burnley on Thursday. If we beat Newcastle and we beat Burnley, Arsenal are only playing against Man City at the weekend. We beat Wolves, they lose to Man City. That's 9 points for us, none for them. We're a point ahead of them this time next week, and we've got a game in hand. Things can change around very quickly. Hoping Greenwood plays like a team player and isn't greedy today, says Electro Dan. I think you can put that against Rashford as well. Miko, welcome to the Members Club. And hello, Mark. Do you think there is anything in the Lingard admission, says Paul O'Brien? You know what, man? I'm going to do a bit of Newcastle because we're playing Newcastle, and I'm wondering, why Lingard is not on the bench. And I just went a bit Scottish as there as well. I don't know why Lingard's not in the team, but he did put an Instagram post out a couple of hours ago. And it was, I'll tell you what it was. I'll get it up. Let me get it up. Lingard. Jesse Lingard. He put a picture of himself up in a training top and it had a laughing face and praying. And then it's got love from Sancho and stuff like that. So I don't know what that means, really. Who knows? Who knows? Why is everyone laughing? Bruno ain't been great, but we all know how good he is. There's a bloody duck next to me. Get it out. Bloody duck. How long's that been there? Right near my hand as well. I can knock it out. Bruno ain't been great, but we all know how good he is. He's one of only players that get a pass for bad form. He carries us, and I love Bruno, says Sean Turner. And Roy Francis, welcome to Members Club. And I love Rashford, but it feels like he's been in bad form for over a year now. His injuries come and gone. I hope he can now become consistent, says Sup. Look, I do feel like we're talking about Marcus Rashford a lot. And all I can say about Marcus Rashford is that are people trying to turn Rashford into something he's actually not? And what I mean by that is Marcus Rashford is not a player that's going to be Bruno Fernandes. He's not going to be a player that creates loads of chances. He is effectively a player that is there to produce moments, which is why the manager formerly known as the Manchester United manager loved him so much. That's a mallard, not a duck, says Paul Not Nice. Okay, we've got a duck specialist there. Maguire, Bruno and Rashford can't play bad today or they will be dropped, says Adewell. I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't believe that at all. I think he can play all the time. But yeah, I don't know what people expect from Marcus Rashford. He's not really a creator. He's not really an assister. He's not really, he's a flair player. He is a flair player, and therefore, you've got to. I do think sometimes people are a little unfair because they almost expect something that's not quite there. He's not a player that's going to do things creatively. His job is to very much be I think Rashford gets picked a lot for his pace, and I don't necessarily have a big problem with that because pace is a big part of the game, and he's the quickest player we've got in the front line. So I don't know why Eric Bailly's not involved today. Lindelof has got the COVID, so that has been confirmed by the manager. No idea what the story is with Eric Bailly. No idea why Lingard's not involved, and Sancho being dropped. I mean, effectively he has been dropped, but that may well be because of he'd been suffering with the ramifications of being ill. So I'm just putting that out there. But we should be getting some quotes coming in from Ranić very soon. Not sure how you managed it, but managing to combine a Newcastle Scottish Indian accent is quite frankly one of the most impressive things I've seen this year. Excellent work, says Miko Welsh. Well, yeah, man. Well, I can do accents but at the end of the day, I can't do them for long. So I lose them, Hiya, haha, are you channeling 1996, Mark? I would love it if we finished above them. Love it. Appropriate, given the team we are playing, says Glenn. Yeah, I remember Keegan. Tonight, we need to sit down. Kevin Keegan, Anton Deck, Alan Shearer, and anything else. I've heard Newcastle be called the barcode twats today and all sorts. But for me, my favourite thing is Newcastle should always be a zebra crossing to 3 points. If you know, you know. So, yeah, we need to win tonight. And I think we will. I'm confident we'll win tonight. Because true Geordie in the mud, says Fergus. Well, I wouldn't say it to his face. But I'll say it on social media. But I won't say it to his face. Mark, hey, we got United back. Just need to give Ralph time to fix the damage. The manager, previous known as the Manchester United manager, did. It will take time. Ralph's Red Army, says Andy and Bruno. You might notice that I'm not really referring to our previous manager before by name because I just think too many people talk about him now and we need to move on. So I'm now calling him the artist formerly known as the Manchester United manager. Goose versus Prattenborough Part 2. 4-0 United. Come on, says Dylan. And also, hi, Mark. How you doing? Hope we get a good result today. As for me, I found out I got COVID yesterday. So hopefully cheers me up with a win. Much love, says Anthony Wright. Well, hopefully you're symptom-free. In whose dream team would Scott and Fred play any role at all, says Gerchen. Look, let's see what they do tonight. It's the third time in a row he's picked them. I agree. I'd love to see Donny given an opportunity, but we've got Pogba coming back as well. Let's see what happens over the coming weeks and games because we've got another game on Thursday. James makes a good point. He says, and then you wonder why Cavani wants to leave. Crap starting ahead of him. Well, I if Cavani wasn't so set, and look, this is well known, Cavani is trying to get out of Manchester United in January. For whatever reason he is, I've got to be honest, Martial's not even on the bench, so it's bye-bye Martial. If he was trying to change Martial's mind, then surely he would have put him on the bench today. He hasn't, so bye-bye Anthony Martial. Rangnick's obviously true to his word that, he's had a chat with Martial, who said he wants to go, and I think he will let him go. And Cavani is wanting to go as well. So I think, that's why they're not starting, really. I hope we go back to the pressing style like we did versus Palace and unlike against Norwich, says Zero Frost Ninja. Look, I think we're so difficult to read because we played so well against Palace for an hour and then we played so badly against Norwich. And basically that's your evidence, Rangnick. And he'd only been in charge a week. So how well have we trained over the last 2 weeks without a game? How much have the players adapted to it? Are the levels going up? Will it be more like Norwich? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Right, we should have some quotes coming in from Rangnick now because he's actually talking to the press. He said, unfortunately, Lindelof tested positive with COVID yesterday, so he cannot play, but Rafael Varane is available again and is in the starting lineup in the last 3 or 4 days. We had some good training sessions. So Lindelof will be out probably until after the Wolves game. 7 days, if he's symptom-free, he wouldn't be back until next Sunday. So you can probably put Lindelof out of the equation now for quite a while. In relation to Greenwood, he said he's definitely playing up front, but in what position you will see. He deserves to play. He did extremely well in the last 2 or 3 weeks in training, and then he came on against young boys. And it was about decision-making against Norwich. In some parts of the game, we did not take the right decisions, and I did not like the body language in some parts. This was a topic in preparation for this game, an away game in front of 65,000. So it looks like Sancho dropped then. So, yeah, interesting. I don't know how you taking those Rangnick comments. I think he's dropped Sancho. Bit controversial. I repeat what he said. It was about decision making against Norwich, and in some parts of the game we did not take the right decisions, and I did not like the body language in some parts. This was a topic in preparation for this game, which is an away game in front of 65,000 people. Look, brave decision. Again, not the decision I want. I want Sancho to play. I would have dropped Rashford. But as somebody said about half an hour ago, a new manager is not there to pick all your favourite players. A new manager is there to make changes that improve us from where we were. And like any manager of Manchester United, you will be judged on the performance and the results. Let's see what happens tonight, because maybe Sancho comes on with half an hour to go with a kick up the arse and plays really, really well. When we play a team who are struggling, we always find it hard to beat them, yet other teams roll over them. Keep up the great work, says the Honest Tiger. And Lukaku proving us wrong to sell. Would you buy him back for 120 million, says Ross. Mate, before yesterday, people were telling me Lukaku's the flop of the season. He scores a goal against bloody whoever, and suddenly we've made a mistake again. I can't be doing with this flippant football. I really can't. Consistency is key. It's like everyone saying that Brendan Rodgers shouldn't be United manager, but he smashed Ollie 4-2. I would have took Rodgers over Ollie, and I'll argue it with anybody. But people are now saying, and people wanted Rodgers as manager. It was at a time when I've said his name now. It was at a time when the previous manager was doing terribly. But people become very flip-flop. If you lose one game or you score one game, they don't look at the bigger picture. Reason I say this is not banter, but because I'm seeing Klopp 15-16 Liverpool, they finished 10th because he didn't have the players to his style. Says 58 go. And Rangnick has confirmed that Greenwood is definitely playing up front. Sancho could only get back to the levels he was at Dortmund if he isn't dropped for every tiny mistake he makes, says Zero Frost. And thank you for the super chats that have come in so far. They will go up on the screen as well. We've got the technology now. And also, we've got tweets going up if you want to ask Goldbridge. We're trying not to say the O word here. You're very right, Kevin Bridge. Please subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner if you're new. We're on the road to 250,000 now, and you're all very, very welcome on the channel. Live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m. Also, all the transfer news, matches, etc. Rangnick also a couple of more quotes here. In some parts of the games, I've done that one. With our team, we are always able to score goals. So it is about having a clean sheet and playing defensively with all the players. It starts up front with the strikers. So, actually, somebody was telling me this earlier on. I think if Rangnick keeps a clean sheet today, I think he's the first Manchester United manager to keep a clean sheet in his first 3 games in a row. So, I mean, I don't know whether that's a record he's going for, but we did keep a clean sheet against Norwich. But I mean, they couldn't score anyway. And we also had a clean sheet against Palace. We had 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games, and so no need for me to change anything. I do not have to. It is about taking steps and development, says Rangnick. And that's obviously a justification for not changing. Mate, I suppose what he's saying there is that the Varane change is enforced because of Lindelof. So does that mean Lindelof would have played tonight instead of Varane? I don't think so. I don't think so. And we are currently it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, so about just over 20 minutes away from kickoff. Who's first goal scorer going to be, Mark? Says Goldbridge Hub. Ask Goldbridge. I have a feeling that Bruno is going to play well tonight. I hope so. Anyway, one thing I haven't done tonight is, would I have picked that team on my left? And the honest answer is, and people are going to disagree with me here, but it's my opinion. Tell us what you would have done in the chat. For me, it would have been Luke Shaw at left back. It would have been Van der Beek instead of McTominay. And it would have been Sancho instead of Rashford. And I probably would have picked that team. I would like to have seen Cavani play, but I think the doubt about whether Cavani even wants to be here, he doesn't deserve a start. But I would have changed Telles for Shaw, McTominay for Van der Beek, and Rashford for Sancho. That's the 3 changes I would have made. But obviously, I'm not going to moan about it because I think this is a very important game that we need to win. I don't know why Lingard and Bailly are not involved. If anybody does know, let us know in the chat. I've not heard any quotes at all about that from Rangnick coming out yet. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I don't know what is going on in relation to Eric Bailly. Maybe he's got another injury. And in relation to Jesse Lingard, I've got to be honest, there's a large part of me that would love it if the truth is Lingard's just not been picked. Because if that was the case, then that means that Alanga's on the bench because Rangnick wants to put him in over a Lingard or a Mata, which is something Ollie, the manager, previously known as the Manchester United manager, would never have done that. So, that is a positive as well. To have a path to the first team for youth players is really important. Up the Magpies, says Dan Reed. And Christopher Day says, compliments of the season, Mark. I hope we can get the needed win. I see this more of a 4-3-3 rather than a 4-2-2-2. Although Rangnick himself has said that Greenwood's playing up front. You'll have to see why. Of course, it could be Greenwood through the middle with Ronaldo off to the left and Rashford off to the right. So it could still be a 4-2-3-1. But thank you for the super chat, Christopher. Jay Ling's fam says, Mark, why did Ralph drop Sancho and not Rashford? Well, it appears, and we've not had any direct name quotes, but it appears he's dropped Sancho because of body language and wasted possession. So the manager's made his decision. There we go. Maybe Eric Bailly is not part of the team because of AFCON. Maybe. I don't know. Mario says, I just can't understand these managers. Rashford again, McTominay, come on, Rangnick, be courageous and choose the best players. Mario, but in training, maybe these players are on fire. Maybe, And Bulu says, trust Rangnick, he wants all his players to be focused and can't be dealing with sulking players. And Mr. Mr. Bridge, are you excited about the Wirtz rumours? Sincerely, a German man. I'm not really, Nicholas. I don't get excited about every, slim story that's got United involved. Love the channel, Mark. I've been watching since 2016. I'm hoping for a big result tonight. I'm going 4-1. Come on, United, says Charlie Willis. Well, we are back. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And, of course, in the second half, we will have the player ratings for you where you can mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. And remember, just before Christmas, we did do the player ratings of the season so far, where you got to give every player this season so far a scoreline. And it was David De Gea, wasn't it? So, I don't know whether that is actually relevant or not, but I thought I'd say it. Just having a quick look there. Okay, we've got a hashtag on screen, Krishank. Mark, what do you think lies ahead with the future of Ronaldo with United? Does he leave if we don't get fourth? Well, you can't get anyone to talk about this, Krish. I've tried twice with Romano, and he just says, United, Ronaldo's committed to United, which of course he is. Of course he is. But my firm belief is that we're not in the Champions League. He leaves because he's missed the Champions League. I don't think we've really provided Ronaldo with a very good platform to score many goals this season. And yet in the Champions League, he's top scorer, isn't he? Or one behind. So he's missed the Champions League. I think he will want to be in the Champions League next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a clause that he can leave if we're not. These Newcastle lads will play well with January around the corner. United need to be careful and not underestimate them, says Callum Fryer. It's all right. No worries. It's just putting me off a little. Renate, thank you very much for the sticker. Shout out to Renate. Alex Pritchard, thank you very much for the super chat there. Look, there's an interesting point about Newcastle. I don't know. I really don't know how a team... they had 7 points when they played 14 games, Newcastle, right? They've now got 10 points 4 games later. They're 10 points after... Well, we're halfway through the season tonight. When this game is completed, it's game 19. Exactly halfway through the season. If we win, Newcastle have got 10 points after halfway through the season. So if they replicate that in the second half of the season, they'd have 20. They'd have to double that just to get 30. Really, Newcastle, Burnley and Norwich should all be relegated already because 11 and 10 points is crap. But because Watford have got 13 points and Leeds have got 16 points, it gives them an opportunity. So I don't think Newcastle are down yet, but really their form is abysmal. What's more interesting is their recent form since Eddie Howe took over. Well, they lost 4-0 in their last outing, which was on a week ago against Man City. They lost 3-1 to Liverpool. But it is Newcastle. Sorry, it is Man City and it is Liverpool. Leicester beat them 4-0 as well. So in their last 3 games, they've conceded 11 goals. They did beat Burnley 1-0 before that. But, they're conceding a lot of goals. And... Sorry, just looking at Ronaldo in a shot. But famous last words. I've seen Newcastle beaters at St James's Park or whatever they want to call it now. I remember the Longstaff one vividly. So you can never say never, but we've got to win today. What's this about Sancho being fully dropped, says Ash? Well, it appears he's been fully dropped because Rangnick's basically spoken about, body language and not playing the right passes. If we forget Sir Alex Ferguson era, are we on the correct path with new boss? Are youngsters going to get playtime in starting squad? How about Pogba? Or Ginish? I can't answer those questions, mate. I wish I could. Time will tell all. I can't answer those questions. He's barely been here 5 minutes, and people want to know why he's picking McTominay and Fred, why Maguire's playing, why Rashford, why Sancho's being dropped, how we're going to play. Is he going to be like Sir Alex? Is he going to play young players? Is he going to sell him? Is he going to buy him? What's he going to do with Pogba? There's so many questions. But, you know, you do one thing and you get criticised by people, you get praised by the other. The reality is his front three today, he's picking Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford and Scott McTominay. They're three, well, McTominay's not young anymore, but they're all part of the youth. And yet, probably most of the fan base wouldn't have picked two of those three players. So, you know, Rangnick's probably thinking, I'm doing the right thing here. I'm picking these young players. And United are obsessed with their youth. It's why Jesse Lingard's still here at 29. If he'd been bought at 21 from Everton, he'd be gone by his 24. But because he's come through the youth setup, he's been here, he's 29, he's still here. United, Sir Alex was very ruthless. Like people like Kieran Richardson, Chris Eagles, they weren't here that long. They weren't good enough. You go. You have your first team chance, you're not good enough. United seem to have got into a bit of a rut recently where if you're part of the youth setup, it's almost like you've got to stay forever and ever and ever until you perform. Now, Rangnick probably needs to learn that, is that we are about youth, but we're also very aware if you're not good enough, you got to go. And that's progression, but we're not at that point yet. And that's something that's been going on for years. Rashford, Ronaldo and Rashford is up there with Europe's best. Varane is the best news for tonight's lineup, says Lee Preston. Hey, Mark, at last I reached the ultimate level of membership, says Joskian, 24 months as a member. Hopefully we can celebrate with a big win. Well done, mate, and thanks for your support. Really appreciate that. Who do you think Man United are going to sign? Kamara or Hodera? It's creative. Well, look, that's another supplement to Manchester United, isn't it? And I did want to mention this, so thank you very much for reminding me. So United at the moment, we've seen the league table, we're 7th. We can go up to 5th tonight, but I'm more interested in the next 6 weeks. We play Burnley on Thursday night. We then play our first New Year game against Wolves at 5:30 on the 3rd of January. So we then play Villa on Monday the 10th. And then we play Villa in the league on Saturday the 15th. And then we're playing West Ham on the 22nd. I would hope we're going to slot Brentford and Brighton in January, or at least one of them. And then you've got the transfer window as well. So it's coming thick and fast. And I think it's going to be a very interesting few weeks. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge. Could Rangnick appoint us to Zidane? I don't think so. I think if Zidane wanted the job, he would have taken the job. Andre O'Brien says, very surprised McFred is still there. Thought new manager could give Donny a chance. We need to keep a winning team, but this setup has no future, says Andrew O'Brien. And is Rashford crap again tonight? Get him off, says Imac. And Rashford, Renato have done that one as well. All I can tell you is, and no, this isn't even from me. This was out and about on social media anyway. Rangnick was going to make 3 changes to the team against Brentford a couple of days after Norwich. Obviously, that game got postponed, and he's made 2 changes. One of them for Lindelof, which wouldn't have happened anyway. So Donny was rumoured to be one of those players that would have played against Brentford, but I think the fact that the game got postponed has gone against Donny, hasn't it? When Rangnick leaves, I want Dyche to replace him. What do you think, says Greek. And Mark, sadly, we all know if United aren't in the Champions League, our boy Ronaldo will go. No way he would be in the Europa, says Andy and Bruno. And Mark, we know that from Andy and Bruno as well. Okay, let me just take a stretch. Plenty of games to rotate, says Dean Turner. Well, look, as I said, we're playing Burnley on Thursday, so hopefully we'll see some rotation there. No worries. I'm actually going to go and take a toilet break in a couple of minutes. So if you want to stack some up. But an interesting subplot as well. Martial's not on the bench. We know he wants to go. Mata's not on the bench. He's rumoured to be going. That's 2 players in January that could go. And hopefully we get one in. We don't know what's happening with Cavani. He is on the bench. Lingard's not on the bench, but has decided he's going to stay, apparently. So what's all that about? Hello, Mark. It's my birthday. Would love a birthday wish, says Vishnu. Birthday wish. Newcastle win. Hopefully that's a good wish for you. Sharky 98. Welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Sharky 98. Let's make that up. Well, look at Gary Neville new comments. I don't know from where. Sunshine Gary Neville. What's he said? Is it on Twitter? It'll probably be about Boris Johnson because he doesn't, it was fine to be quiet about Solskjaer's leadership, but when it comes to politics, he's all over it. He tweets about 20 times a day. I tell you what, Gary Neville will be the next Prime Minister. Don't laugh. He will, because at the end of the day, Ronald Reagan was an actor and he became president of the UK. Tom McDermott on Twitter, shout out to him. He's just given me the quote. Gary Neville on Man United's formation. I'm not sure about the system personally. I'll tell you now. I'll tell you right now. And I've got the quote from United Stand FC as well, United Stand MUFC. The issue is that you have to have a partner for Ronaldo. So I think Rashford and Ronaldo will be up top. But I just wonder if he will see a narrow front three of Rashford, Ronaldo and Greenwood. There you go. Man United have got a strong squad. They're all fresh. They have had their winter break already. There are no excuses in terms of preparation. And he said, I'm not sure about the system personally. There you go. But yeah, there's the quote there from United Stand. Fancy Newcastle here like Marx is fear the man? I hope not. I've said this before. Forget about Gary Neville, Roy Keane, any other of our ex-players, the media. I think they're all. I'm not naming names here. I think they're all in the same boat. The manager previously known as the Man United manager, who came from Norway, had a lot of friends in the media, and they protected him too long. The reason we're in a top four race is because he was protected by the club, by the media. I predicted this straight away with Rangnick. They ain't interested in doing that. They're not interested in doing that with Rangnick. Rangnick's this man they don't know anything about. He's got no friends. He hasn't played for the club before. There's no little backhanders going on of information. They won't like that. They'll feel like they're on the outside. This lot have been on the inside for so long. Comfy shoes on, high five, Ollie. Can we have a little bit of a Snapchat thing? And they haven't got that anymore. So I think they will go for Rangnick. I think they'll go after Rangnick, the first loss we have. To me, Rangnick seems more like a maths debater than a United manager to show. And well done. I know exactly what you've done there. The new Batman trailer has dropped, says Milo. Okay. Mark, it's my 18th birthday today. Hope United can bring the win, says Orhan. Well, we're about 7 minutes away from kickoff, so I'm just going to chuck you to Drawty, who's going to audio you with some
hashtags.
And I'll be back in 60 seconds. He's going to do some hashtags. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge. I'll be back in a minute.
Evening, everyone. So hashtag Ask Goldbridge on Twitter. So we're just going to bring up what it says. Leonardo DiCaprio without a drink. Mark, do you think the most likely manager we'll get in the summer is Ten Hag or Pochettino? Put it to you guys in the comments. For me, I think it's more likely to be Pochettino, probably because of his Premier League experience, though I don't think anyone would be upset if we got Ten Hag. Again, it's going to depend on how Ralph Rangnick does it at the end of this season, because if he performs quite well, as we know in earlier comments, he thinks he might be able to get the job. So, I mean, we've seen the board do it before with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 17-game run, gave him the job. So that could happen again. Peter says, hashtag Ask Goldbridge, do you think that at least one player who graduated from the academy, McTominay, Rashford or Greenwood, has to start a game? I don't think any player has to start a game. If they're in form and they're doing well, then they'll deserve to be in the team. But I think if the academy wasn't good enough, they wouldn't be on the pitch. But United has a long history of always having at least one academy graduate on the bench since, I think, the 50s. Hello, everyone. Drawty has an amazing presenting voice. It's just a good microphone. That's all it is. Another one here from Ready. We all agreed clean slate for everyone. So let's see how things will go with this run of games. If McFred and Harry do the same things, then they'll be useful only for guarantee FPL points. Guessing you're talking about the Fantasy Premier League there. And Goldbridge is back off of his toilet break. You weren't that long, actually.
And I wash my hands.
I don't believe you.
No, definitely do. Hygiene's important, especially in these COVID times. Look, we are back and you're very, very welcome. Hope everyone's doing well. We are only 5 minutes away from the start of this epic game between Manchester United and Newcastle United. Echoes of the past. Well, not really, but echoes of the future, possibly. This is not the Keegan, Sir Alex days. This is not, but it's not the previous manager days either. There is optimism around Manchester United. Even if there's not optimism around, certain team selections, I think that, this is a real test of what Rangnick is actually here for. I've said this so many times before. The difference between previous manager and Rangnick is huge, absolutely huge, and therefore I expect to see a different Manchester United tonight at higher tempo. Certainly, we've heard Matic and De Gea talking about the intensity. Let's see that intensity tonight. Let's see what Manchester United can deliver. So I'm very excited to have us back. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome. And look, I really, really, really hope that we see a big performance from United tonight. But more importantly, let's get 3 points. Hope you all have a good New Year, says Barker. And you're a brave man going for a toilet break in light grey trackies. What if you get a bit of dribble, says Luke Jones. Well, the thing is about that, Luke Jones, is you're right. And I did think about that earlier because before I started the show, I washed my hands and the water from washing the hands went on there. And I thought people will think it's a bit of urine when actually it could just be dribble from washing my hands. So there you go. Mark, it's my 18th birthday today. I hope United can bring the win, says Orhan. Well, happy birthday, pal. And I hope that they can. Newcastle, look, the only thing that worries me about Newcastle is, because they are shit, is that if we play as bad as we did against Norwich, they've got better firepower. But apart from that, I'm not massively worried. Especially with Varane back, you would hope to expect Manchester United to win. You've got me feeling conscious now. Can I actually stand up and be all right? I think I can.
Please don't. Seriously, just don't.
Clean. Good evening, United, says Jojo. And come on, United, says Sibster. Let's get some score predictions in the chat. I'm going to go 4-1. 4-1 to Manchester United. There we go. 4-1. Lots of 2-0s, 3-0s. I mean, you've got to be very careful because we were all saying the same scores against Norwich. To be honest with you, Joe, I hate saying this, but Longstaff and Shelvey against McTominay and Fred, it doesn't fill me with confidence, and it would never fill me with confidence. But if they do win that battle, I think you've got to give the credit to Rangnick. Hello, Mark. It's my birthday. I would love a birthday wish. I've done that from Vishnu, and the wish is United win for Vishnu. So they've got Greenwood next to Bruno in the front too. We're only 100 subscribers away from 241,000, by the way. So please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You're very welcome. We're very excited to have a Manchester United game back. Very, very close to the start of the match as well. There is John Joe Shelvey. You made a clean sheet, Mark. Now it's De Gea's turn, says Alex. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for the credit. And hello, Jimmy, says Josh. And Mark, I bet it would be 9-0 with red for New in first half, says Pushan. Well, you're a prat. I hope you haven't bet anything like that. But great to see Varane back playing for Manchester United. Couple of big injuries that he's had already. We really need him to stay fit now between now and the end of the season, don't we? Can't be becoming an injury players. Eric has left for the AFCON, says Joseph Lackey. Yeah, probably makes sense, to be honest with you. But obviously with no Lindelof for a week, if we were to lose a Maguire, well, Maguire's got to start. You know, anyone moaning about Maguire starting tonight, you really would not pick Phil Jones ahead of Maguire. So Maguire's got to start tonight. If Bay's already gone and Lindelof's got COVID, then, you know, what do you expect? But the midfield battle is going to be very interesting. McTominay and Fred definitely improved against Palace. They weren't bad against Norwich, so let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, no worries. So the match is just about to start. The referee is ready. I've lost my earpiece. A Man United game of football. How exciting is this? That last game was the 11th of December, 2.5 weeks ago, basically. They take the knee. They kick the ball. We start the game. There we go. No, we don't. He wants it to be started again. We start now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Mark, would you rather see Rangnick ball or Rangnick? No, Abby, no. I've missed this. Never stop, boss man, says Oliver M. And I'm hoping for a better game for Rangnick. I really need the team to understand his football philosophy, says Mora. Well, we've hit the long ball again from the kickoff, the rugby kickoff again. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. And Shelby just bullies Rashford out of the way, and it goes for a goal kick. I think, on a serious note, I think they do it for possession. I just want to say as well, I feel the excitement you do as well, because I didn't even do the Norwich watch along. That was Levin and Kev, because I was away that weekend. I was in a pub in Birmingham watching the game. It was bloody dreadful. So I'm very excited to be back. I mean, sometimes we're doing, 8 or 9 of these a month for the last year. So to not have done one for 3 weeks is weird, but it's very exciting as well. And it's very exciting to have the Rangnick era. So lovely. Moderators, if you want to get busy in the chat, moderators, please do. I can see a few twats in here already. So let's start getting rid of them. You know who you are. Well done. Sally Devil Red 7. If you start putting in fake scores, you will get blocked. It's as simple as that. You've been warned too many times before. Yeah, you just block the individual. Thanks, Sally. Yeah, I've just heard 19 days without a watch along. Anyway, we're up and running here. Newcastle on the front foot. Here's St. Maximin up against Delo. Strong recovery from Delo there. Varane gives it to McTominay, who gives it to Fred, who hits a forward pass nicely into Bruno. Lovely little pass by Fred. And United into McTominay, go forward again. Finds Delo. This is good. Rashford, who's playing off the right. I predicted this. Ronaldo to the left. Greenwood through the middle. Rashford to the right. I actually predicted that. There you go. Oh, Joel Linton might be off. That was a good forward pass by Fred, though. Very good forward pass by Fred. Straight into Bruno, who laid it off. And that's something that we never did under the previous regime. It would be slow side-to-side football. Obviously, that intensity, it's such an overused word, but it's a very important word. The intensity of moving that ball quickly forward makes things happen. Julia says, I think it's going to be a 2-0 win, safe and comfortable. I hope so. I'll have some of that. Excuse me if I'm passing wind through the mouth, which is burping. I should have just said burping. Had garlic bread for tea, and it's repeating on me. At least you don't get the smell. Tommy, no, Tommy. He says, standards have dropped. You're rewarding a player who passes the ball forward. I'm not rewarding it. You've got to do more than that. You've got to win the midfield battle. You've got to do 15 of those passes a game. You've got to get assists. You've got to contribute with goals. But I'm not giving Fred an 8 out of 10 because he played one forward pass. But what I am going to do is I will call out things that are new that we haven't seen before. And, can they win the midfield battle? That's their big thing. Nice play by Bruno and Ronaldo there to get it to Tellez. Maguire into Fred. Terrible first touch, but he's got no one near him. And they look like Newcastle look like they're very happy to let United have the ball. We might need to push higher up the pitch here. It's because he's Carrick did it, didn't he? And then he just kept stuck with the winning team with Wan-Bissaka and Telles. Rashford's robbing a living. Youth favouritism, says Harvey. That's very controversial. I'm worried for sure. He's a phenomenal player and I want him back. England's first choice. Do you think he will return to your first team, says Matt? I do. I mean, just literally talking about that. Connor, I'm going to have to get rid of you because you just keep putting the same thing in. Bye. And good interception here by Greenwood. And I think John Joe Shelvey really should be getting a yellow card there. He's tripped him up when he's running at the back four. Now, he's not the last man, but it's a cynical foul. Referee just gives the foul. Yeah, I think with Telles and and Delo, they deserve their starting spots. Remember, Ranić didn't drop them. They didn't play against Arsenal because of Shaw's concussion and Wan-Bissaka was injured. And Ranić just stuck with a winning team. So whether they keep their place or not. I mean, Delo's got a great chance to put a cross in, and it's not a very good cross, unfortunately. But interesting to see Ronaldo playing to the left, Greenwood playing through the middle. No, actually, it's more of a 4-2-2, isn't it, really? It's a 4-2-2-2 again. Bruno's drifting to the left, Rashford to the right. Shout out for Ben Edgar. Do you think we can finish top four by the end of the season? Oh, yeah. I mean, why are we not here? Why are we here if we don't think that can happen? Newcastle on the attack, though. St. Maximin. What a goal. What a goal. Absolutely, what a goal. Can't say anything about it. And that's the fear with people like Delo, is that he's just ran at him, cut inside, put it in the top corner. Let's watch this back. Maguire doesn't go for the first header. Varane gets caught. It's going to be Maguire who gets skinned, isn't it? I thought it was Varane. Oh, dear me. Maguire's been sent back to Leicester. Absolute shit. Doesn't go for the first header from the throw-in, and then 5 seconds later gets skinned by St. Maximin as well. There's nothing De Gea's doing about that. What key? I'm not even warmed up enough to get angry. It's just Reece is trying to blame it on Varane. Mate, Harry Maguire's got to go for the first header. And then the second one, he's got to make the tackle. Varane has a part to play, and so does Delo. But watch the goal back. The throw-in goes to the forward, and Maguire doesn't even bother trying to win it. Varane then loses the ball. They then move it to the left, and Harry Maguire is the last defender. He's got to put a tackle in. He gets skipped past like a fucking 4-year-old. Like, I'm sorry. Understand a game of football and read the game. Like, Varane makes a mistake. It's still a long way to go. Maguire's got to put a tackle in. You're the captain of Manchester United. You're apparently England's best centre-back. And he's skipped past you like you're a bloody traffic cone. Like, you've got to do better than that. You've got to do better than that. I think Delo's got to do a little bit better as well. I did worry about Delo in this game. Oh, my Christ. Another ball there. We don't look solid at the back. We don't look solid at all. It's like Mr. Whippy. Great finish, but Maguire needs to put a foot in, says Charlie Green. He's too focused on giving him a push, which would have been a penalty. Watch the goal back at half-time. He's got zero chance of tackling him. He's too busy thinking about pushing him. I've always said it. Delo looks suspect as a defender. I mean, I've said it as well, Chai. I agree. Delo went for the overlapping player and was right thing to do. Maguire's fault all day. Says, I mean, look, I don't really want to play the blame game. And people will say, well, you've been a hypocrite because you are playing the blame game. But I'm not putting it on one player. But Maguire makes 2 mistakes. Delot makes half a mistake. And Varane loses possession miles away from the goal. Like, if you know football and I'm Maguire, I know I'm getting a bollocking at half time because he's got to make a tackle. You cannot let the player running at you in the box get a shot off. You can't do that. So, you know, he's got to stop that shot coming in, regardless of what has happened elsewhere. And you can say it's Varane's fault all day as much as you bloody well like, but I think you're an idiot, because how can it be Varane's fault exclusively when Harry Maguire doesn't make the tackle? You know, simple as that. But we're 1-0 down. We've got to respond now. We can argue about whose fault it is. The reality is it's not a goal, is it? It's a goal. It's 1-0 down. And it's another poor start from United. And we've spoken about this a lot. You know, whether you want to blame one player or 2 players or 3 players or no players or whatever. We spoke about this when Ralph Rangnick came into the club. Clean slate. It's a clean slate. But that doesn't mean everyone's going to be good. Some of these players were shit under the last manager. They might be shit under this manager. And, you know, are we winning the midfield battle again? No. Are we creating chances again? No. I mean, what's that by Fred again? You see, we're panicking again. We've gone 1-0 down and we're panicking. Newcastle are shit. They're rubbish. Bloody Zebra FC. They're just bloody glamorous horses. Oh, bloody hell. De Gea had to make a... Well, it wasn't. It was just gone wide. This is embarrassing, Mark. Plenty of time. Well, it's plenty of time to get back in, and Newcastle do concede a lot of goals. And I'm certainly not thinking we've lost the game yet, but I'm a little bit worried about the start. Slow start again. It's a very slow start, Coco. And Rashford not tracking back. Surprise, surprise. And how is he in the team? Says Jamie Sharp. United should just take the rest of the season off, to be honest. What crap, says Caramore. Michael Gibbs. I suppose the interesting thing is that there is no guarantees. Varane loses the ball and Harry is to blame, says John. Mate, you've just waited. I'm not... Can somebody just speak to John and tell him to go and get a book on football? Because Varane loses the ball, so it's his fault. I mean, is that how you watch football? A player loses possession near the halfway line, and therefore anything that happens after that is their fault. Yeah, was it? You know, we're wearing the red shirt. It's their fault. It was just an irrelevant point. St. Maximin is running towards the edge of the box. He shouldn't get a shot off. He gets a shot off because Maguire's tackle attempt is about as useful as a bag of cement. Like, it's rubbish. If he makes the tackle he should make, Varane losing the ball is irrelevant. Like, cause and consequence. Use your brain. There was about 4 seconds after Varane lost the ball, and there was 2 big mistakes after that. And also, before he loses the ball, it's a throw-in from Newcastle that Maguire doesn't go with his man to try and win. He gives him a free header. So, you know, analyse a game properly and stop talking out your arse, basically. Miss Pogba drastically. There's no way we get the ball to our forwards. If we get rid of Pogba, we're just going backwards, says Jakob. Well, maybe we'll see Van der Beek. He played very well against Newcastle, didn't he, a couple of years ago? Fred and McTominay are clueless in that midfield, as usual. No quality whatsoever, says Sam. And I know he's English, so therefore infallible, but Maguire is crap. That was all Maguire. First ball watching on the header, then flat-footed on the shot, says Alarico. Look, Varane shouldn't have given the ball away. I'm not going to give him a free pass, but you know, You can't let somebody get a shot off there. An £80 million captain of Manchester United has to do better on the edge of the box. There is no way in a million years that Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Jaap Stam, there's no way they're letting a player get the shot off there. People always talk of Pogba, but he's clearly our best player going forward. Well, he's injured, dang. I mean, we can all talk about Pogba, but he's injured. Good play by Ronaldo. Doesn't get the free kick. Are Maguire and McFred playing for Newcastle? Varane lost the ball. It can't happen to anyone. However, our midfield is just bad. They have no control. Says Ronald Jacob. Welcome to the Members Club, Chino. And Newcastle on the attack here. I don't know whether Ronaldo's staying down. It's a bit sloppy again. Thank you. People are blaming Varane and not Maguire because of the English bias in the commentary as usual, says Ryan Taylor. Well, idiots. Some of these people played for fucking England as well. Couldn't analyse a game if you gave them a bloody map. Ronaldo's up. He's all right. Too many side-to-side passes again. Low intensity. Here's Fred. There's no number 10. The problem is there's no number 10. Bruno's too wide. Rashford's too wide. Oh, nearly a lovely ball from Greenwood into Ronaldo, though. That's better link-up play that you wouldn't see with Rashford and Ronaldo. But I think we are missing a number 10 because we're almost playing a 4-4-2. Newcastle playing like top table team, not relegating team. Of all the coaches in the world, whatever tactics it is United defend. Econ saying we're defending badly. Yeah. I mean, it's not a surprise that we're losing. I don't think, we can all predict 4-0, 4-1. You should expect that from the quality of player that we've got and the football team that we are. But here's Rashford. Falls under his own feet, but stays up and wins it's a goal kick. What is he on about? Oh, it's a corner. Is it a corner? Yeah, it's a corner. Who would you sign to make United better, Thomas? Well, I'm a firm believer that we need a midfielder. 80 million keeping Maguire on the game. Coutinho and Hazard did not work as well. We need Koundé, says Tariq. Well, this is where Maguire can deliver. He's very good. I'd say he's world class at winning corners. He's just got to get some direction on it. And he hasn't won that one because it was right on the keeper. And look at Fred's touch there. Fucking abysmal. Some of Fred's passing tonight has been shit. Absolute shit. Mark, I have a feeling this Pogba injury is just a bit too convenient. Something relating to a transfer might already be in the work. Nah, there's too long left in the season, Dowell. Not making an excuse, but don't you think opposition players and fans turn up more when they play United? Yeah, but, that's happened all my life. Tom, United have always done that. Rashford looks like he's given up, Mark, says Ryan Taylor. I think Joel Linton might be coming off, saying Miasi's laughing. So here's the goal again. Now, Maguire's got to stop this shot. There's two of them there. No, I'm not having that. He's not even on his own. There's two red players there. He gets skipped past way too easily. He's got to put a tackle in. It's a good finish, but he has got to put a tackle in. In my opinion, we are worse under Ranić than the so-called PE teacher. Are we to get over? Chelsea, it's way too early to be saying that. We need a good distributor. Ronaldo and Greenwood are making runs and there is no service again, says Parth. And do you think if we lose, top four is gone? No, it's too early, Ashton. Now is Joel Linton coming up? Where's the press? I know. We bought in the set-piece specialist and we've done sod all, says Phil. Pep or Klopp could come in and it wouldn't make a difference. Majority of our squad has no business playing for Man United, says Mikey Mike. I've just tweeted there, where is the press? Where is the intensity? Where is the shape? These players are not up to it. And I think, if you know anything about Ralph Rangnick's style of football, then he's not telling them to start to play like this. He wants them to play better than this. Another corner here. I just think the players, 2 weeks without a game, maybe will grow into the game. But, what did we expect against the team that's fighting relegation? I mean, they've not played a game for a week themselves. I think they played on the 19th. So it's only 8 days. But I agree with Ryan. I think this is on the players. The players cannot keep putting in this level of performance. Sharath Kamath Fitness says you use a lot of social media. When was the last time Rashford was trending for his contribution to Man United? He's lost something in his game. And Rangnick knows that we need to improve our passing, but 6 years of poor coaching to make up for so many chances given away through poor passing that lead to throw-ins, corners and breaks, Sandro O'Brien. And indifferent performance expected in the early stages under Rangnick, clear to see some players may be difficult to improve. Yeah, I think, IQ, this is not a manager that's going to come in and say, go out there and enjoy yourself. That's what the previous manager did when he first came in. And he got a job because of it. And then as soon as he got a job, the players were like, what's next? And he was like, go out there and enjoy yourself. And it fell apart. Mark, I think Bruno should play in the midfield instead of Fred. We need to play to get the ball forwards. Don't disagree with you, Ellie. De Gea needs to communicate better with his back four. It's got nothing to do with De Gea rash, why we conceded a goal. Don't even know what you're talking about. And McFred are failing to control the midfield against the relegation team. Fred first touch is worse than a trampoline toes. He's not had a great start, Anthony. He played a good pass in the first 2 minutes, but his touch is off tonight. Needs to do much better. Dazzo says that the 4-2-2-2 does not suit Bruno, and he's our best player when it comes to goals and assists. Need to get him in the game more. Well, 20 minutes has gone in this game, and it's absolutely flown by. Ronaldinho says, "What Ollie out is what you're saying now." I don't know what McTominay's asking from Greenwood there. He slipped the ball in behind the defender, and McTominay's saying he wants it to feet, despite the fact he was making the run. But this is the problem. Every team we play has a chance of winning the midfield battle. The passes are on. I mean, Fred could have slipped Ronaldo in there. Oh, McTominay needs to get up here. I thought it was a foul on McTominay. Oh, it's a 3v3. Shelby with the shot, De Gea with the save. I mean, really, that was a foul on McTominay, I thought. I was waiting for someone to try and spin this on De Gea. I remember watching my first game, says Jacob. I'd understand Donny or Sancho not playing if the players ahead of him were on form or were better, says Rash. I think this sort of game's made for a Donny van der Beek. The problem is take McTominay or Fred off and get some. I mean, even what that person said about Bruno, it's not for me. It's not the problem. It's not Greenwood, Ronaldo, Bruno, or Rashford that's the problem. I mean, they might be the problem, but the real problem is not getting the ball. That to me is a foul on McTominay by Longstaff. Yeah, it's a blatant foul on McTominay. The ref's looking right at it. He's poor, says Dan Watson. Also, this system only works with intensity and work rate. There is none of that, which is why we're being run all over, says Dan Watson. Time and time again, we've spoken about it. Time and time again, the problem is that we can win midfield battles, but every single game there is an opportunity. McTominay looks like he's all right. I mean, you don't wish injury on anybody, but would it not be a little bit better for us if we took McTominay or Fred off and brought Donny on and tried something different? But he'll be all right. But we need something in that midfield. We're not breaking the lines again. We're not creating chances. We've got Tellez and Delot who can both whip a ball in, and neither of them are getting forward. Kareem says Ronaldo's the best player in the world. Doesn't matter how good he is if he's not getting opportunities. I'd get Donny on already. One way to go, Newcastle keeping a clean sheet would be like a miracle, a Christmas miracle. "25 minutes gone now. It's like going to war with a bunch of cannons, but with no shooters, just expecting the cannons to shoot themselves," says Abby. Interesting. There is no midfield, nobody to pass the ball forward, says Sarish. And I think everyone's freaking out a little bit too early. Relax yourself. It's 1/4 of the way in, says Stephen. Yeah, I'd be amazed if we don't score, Stephen, to be fair. "Remember when we thought we were going to become this intense pressing team? Good times," says Carrymore. It will take time to do that, though. I got to, it's very difficult to make a clear and, patient point 25 minutes into a game when you're losing to Newcastle 1-0 because everyone wants a headline. But the reality is we were always going to struggle to become an intense attacking side quickly when we spent 6 years being a pragmatic footballing side. It will take some of these players time. But we haven't got time. As I said, Spurs, very impressive under Conte. They've adapted quickly. Arsenal are getting better. They're accumulating points. We certainly have to win this game tonight. A point would be a joke. We've got to win. And at the moment, we've not really had a chance. After 26 minutes, not had a chance. I'm not saying they've had any good chances, but they're 1-0 up. Varane bringing it out from the back, but has to turn around to go to Fred. Rangnick, the Godfather, what a manager. Come on, Fred, move it quicker. Harmony with a bit of fighting spirit there, but you just need a little bit more in that midfield. I mean, I don't think anybody can ever doubt the, application and energy of McTominay and Fred, but we always doubt their quality. Can they drive forward with the ball? All McTominay and Fred ever do with the ball, and they can sometimes do it, is they get the ball and they try and telegraph a pass 20, 30 yards. They never carry the ball. They've never got the confidence to carry the ball to the opposition. And then when they come towards them, play the pass. They're always trying to play the pass as soon as they've got the ball. "I'm all for second chances, but Fred have had multiple chances," says Sean Turner. "Keep losing the midfield battles and we struggle in the games." That's from Sean Turner. We literally haven't got a midfield, nor are we playing as a team. I don't understand this team or this mindset, says Clay. And Bruno moaning at the ref is really starting to annoy me, says Stephen Atkinson. Well, somebody just said there, Raz just says, "Aren't Newcastle in the relegation zone?" Raz, you probably didn't watch us play against Norwich. They were in the relegation zone as well. Lovely ball into Bruno here. Keeper's going to get there, though. Yeah, we Norwich are in the relegation zone, and if they'd had somebody up front, it would have been a different story against Norwich. They played well. It might have been the 11th of December, but Norwich deserved something out of that game. "What midfielder would you sign if you could?" says Envy. Mate, there's probably 100 midfielders I'd buy. We at the very least, we need competition in that midfield. Matic can't do the job. Donny never gets given the chance to do the job. So all we see is McTominay and Fred game after game after game after game. And I'm not convinced about them. I'm not. I mean, that's good winning of the ball back by McTominay. Gives it to, Fred's got it now, to Rashford, to Greenwood. Come on. No, Ukraine. Trying to understand what the benefit of 4-2-2-2 is. Everyone looks isolated and hardly any runs. I'd take off Rashford to bring on a midfielder. Says Andrew O'Brien. What midfielder would you sign? We've done that one. We desperately need better midfielders. Running around like rabbits is not a midfield. These two have seen 2 managers out. I don't know how. Take them off and sell them for free, says Ronald Jake. I mean, they're not terrible. You know, I do think they are scapegoated a lot. We're 1-0 down because of Harry Maguire. Like, we're not 1-0 down because of a mistake by McTominay or Fred. So they seem to me to be the scapegoats because it's easy to scapegoat them. But I don't think they've been terrible. It's just whether they're good enough. Greenwood, it's a good shot, blocked. Yeah, you know, I don't think they're terrible. Don't think they're terrible, but I think they give every opposition a chance. And you know, you need better quality in your midfield. Rashford with the cross, wants a handball. Will that get looked at? Some Maximum pissing about. They've still won it though. We should be winning that ball back. Let's have a look at this. Rashford seems to think there should have been a handball. We're going to see a replay? No. You know what I mean, though? I mean, like, we're playing Newcastle and it's a very equal game. That's your hint. Like, we're Manchester United. We shouldn't be having an equal game with Newcastle. Why can't we ever see a Donny and Matic pivot? Says I don't know whether Matic is up to it. That's something I would say. I don't think Matic is up to it anymore. Rashford and Bruno with too sentimentality attached to the previous regime. This is not right. Dip in form is affecting the entire system and need dropping. This is shocking, says Lee Harding. Please subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're nearly at 241,000. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. Varane wins the header. Go on. Come on. Half an hour gone. Rudra says the geese pressed you more than these players. Yeah, they did press me, to be fair. Maguire with a long ball out to Rashford. We're trying to get that ball to Rashford. Obviously, he's got the pace. I don't think Rashford ever looks that comfortable on the right, to be honest. McTominay is making forward runs, which is good to see. I like it when McTominay does that. Here's Bruno. Cut back. Cut back. Oh, it nearly came to Ronaldo. It still does. Oh, Ronaldo. What's he doing there? He's tried to cross it. He's missed the bounce. It's hit his bottom and gone out for a goal kick. Which pretty much describes United's first half an hour. Ass football. The same McFred that got dominated by Norwich's relegation midfielder, failing to impose themselves on yet another match. Why are people surprised, as member F24? Yeah. Well, the issue is this is a relegation side and it's a very equal game. And you've got to be controlling games better than this. Man City beat Newcastle 4-0. Liverpool beat them 3-1. And I watched both games. And they dominated them. Vignesh says this statement is scary. We're playing Newcastle and it's a neutral game. Shocking we are, says Vignesh. All of us fans know how bad McFred are, yet the fellow who's paid millions can't. Free Donny, says Davies JN. And if Matic and Mata are not good enough and up to speed for Premier League anymore, then they should be sold and let go. McFred can be our backup player, says Ronald and Jacob. We did beat Newcastle 4-1 earlier in the season. But I remember, I remember watching the game. It was the first Ronaldo game, wasn't it? But I remember Adam's match reaction. And he got a lot of stick for it, but he basically said, it was a bit of a con job. Bad ball by Varane, this. Now, if this leads to something, it's the second time Varane's done it. Wilson, Maguire covers well that time. But Newcastle wanted it more there. Rashford should be doing better. That's a foul by Maguire. Yeah, the Newcastle game was a very good game because it was Ronaldo's first game. But ultimately, did we play that well in it? Yeah, Varane was sloppy there. Maguire's just given a free kick away. Rashford needed to be better on the ball from Harry Maguire in the first place. Sloppy passing, sloppy effort, sloppy seconds at the moment. And it's very similar to the Norwich result, Norwich performance at the moment. Apart from, and I said this in the preview, if we play like we did against Norwich, we will lose. Because Newcastle have got players who can put the ball in the back of the net. Norwich didn't. It's a free kick to Newcastle here. They have got height. This team is like a shell of a Ferrari in the engine of a Ford, says Moko. And Bruno where Fred is, Donny in Bruno's position, Rashford off, Sancho on. Watch the difference. We need somebody in that midfield who can play a pass, hacker man. I agree. This team is, I've done that one. And this is the last game I'm giving Ranić to see McFred are not the answer before my doubts about his judgment start setting in, says Ash G. Well, he wants the job. He wants the job full time. He's not going to get the job full time if he doesn't get top four. Cross comes in, headed away by Ronaldo, cleared away by Fred. Oh, Rashford tipped it too far, hard on the break. Ronaldo's furious, turns around to him, gives him a bit of a stare. It's a simple pass by Rashford. We were on the break and he just bounces it out of play. I like Ranić, but it's clear to see the 4-2-2 formation doesn't suit our squad. Change of formation needed, says Daniel Sharber. I would always play the 4-2-3-1 with this team. I think we desperately need a number 10. Matt Morton says, what's the last game we dominated, Mark? Probably Leeds. Spurs away, we did dominate that as well. They sacked their manager straight after. Leeds are in the bottom four, you know. Hi, Mark. Hope you and the family had a good Christmas. We need to start games faster. Donny on at half time, says Mohammed. I would be warming people up because this is 37 minutes. Is there a reason why Rashford has turned into this lazy player? I can't help but think that the weight of his PhD and his MBE slowing him down. I don't know about that, Shaf. I've got no problem with people doing things off the pitch. I mean, footballers have a lot of spare time, but does he believe his own hype? I don't know. I like Rashford, but he's nowhere near performing to his best. So Maximum again. You've got to put a tackle in there. Varane. It's 2-0. He's offside. Fucking hell. We're lucky there. And it would have been Varane's fault then because, well, I mean, he looks a bit rusty. And he does get turns. But again, where's the midfield again? St. Maximin, Rashford not putting the work in, can't be asked. He's miles offside. Miles off that side. Thank God for that. Hey, Mark, it's so easy to stop our attack. Every lower end team does it. If you put 5 in the midfield and a wall in front of McFred, we struggle, says Akil. Everyone thinks this game is crying out for number 10. But in my opinion, with the formation, we need someone who can run in forward and make plays from where Fred and Scotty are. Yeah, I would agree with that, Jacob. When it comes to team chemistry, United are the worst in the Premier League, says Abhishek. And Scott and Fred, shocking. Varane, rusty. Rashford has been terrible, says Vignesh. I'd make 5 subs at half time. I just tweeted it there. Nice ball over the top. Rashford's got it easy. No, right, not Rashford. The keeper's got it easy. Still 7 minutes to go to half time. It's too easy. It's too open for me. It's not even open. It's too equal. That's the word. That begins with an E, not an O. But yes, the game's too open. We can't take off Harry Maguire. I don't want to hear take off Harry Maguire. The sub is Phil Jones. Like, I'm all for saying somebody's not playing well. I think Varane looks very rusty. Maguire, that's a good ball by McTominay. Come on, good tackle. Greenwood still got it. Wide left. That's a foul. Now, Ronaldo will shoot from here, I think. Ralph drops the wrong player. Rashford has been useless. He's just a glorified Welbeck with good PR. Should have played Sancho, says My Big Melons. Very well, Jeeves. Thank you very much for the super chat. I think it's very difficult to take any of the front four off when they're not really getting the ball. How crap can you play? Ricky is right with every word he says. Rashford, Fred, McTominay, Maguire, Greenwood are simply not good enough, says Phil. Thanks for the super chats that are coming in. We'll put them up on the screen as well. It's far enough out here to shoot for Ronaldo. It's not a Tellez shot for me, this. No, he's walked away. Ronaldo's walked away. They don't fancy it. A little dink. Keeper, brave, and Newcastle clear. It could have worked. New is pressing higher than us, says John. Bravo. Newcastle are pressing higher than us, says John. Bravo. Sorry. Keeper's done a good job there. He might be injured, actually. Keep an eye on that. Cyril says he's pissed. I don't know whether that's because it's Christmas or he's just not very happy. Mark, I'd take Rashford off for Sancho and Scott for Van der Beek. We need to take control of this game, says Nick. I don't know whether McTominay's actually having a better game than Fred. I don't know whether you're right there. I mean, one of them I would bring off, but I don't know. Here we go. Delo. Oh. Get one before half time and then reset second half. Cavani's on the bench. Go for the front two. Maybe put Greenwood on the left or something like that. I would strongly believe that Cavani would have formed a lethal partnership with Ronaldo due to his work rate. Shame he's being sold, says Cal. And it's so frustrating. Different manager, same McFred. I just can't see their value, says David Harris. Look, if I'm absolutely honest, and I'm going to get pelters here, I don't think McTominay and Fred have played that badly. I don't think they've played well. I don't think they've been terrible. But some people don't get this. We're Manchester United. We can't have a midfield two that play okay. Because if you've got a midfield two that play okay, that means Newcastle and Norwich and Southampton and Everton can win the midfield battle. You've got to have a midfield two that's not okay. You've got to have a midfield two that's dominating. You know, the Rodris, the Gundowans, the Kantes, the Jorginhos, the Hendersons, the Fabinhos. You've got to have a midfield like that. Even Arsenal have started to do it with Xhaka and Partey now. You know, Spurs have done it with Højbjerg and I don't know who they play with Højbjerg, actually. But you know what I mean? We need a better midfield. There's a reason why Ralph was unemployed. Ollie's better, says Ronaldinho Goats. It's so frustrating. I've done that one. I'd love to see what Fred, McTominay, Maguire and Rashford do in training to warrant starting every single match, says Ryan. So Maximum is so easily manhandling our players, says Path. And this game would have been great for Martial in place for Rashford. Would have held the ball up well and the creativity as well. The trouble is with that, Lanky, is that I think anybody who says, oh, I'd take Bruno off for Donny or I'd take Rashford off for Sancho or I'd take Ronaldo off for... Oh, it would have been a great goal, that. Bruno wants... He's offside anyway. Lovely ball by McTominay into Ronaldo, who slipped it into Bruno. He's miles offside, that's why. Ronaldo's miles offside, unfortunately. Barker says, well, good God, we're making them look like prime Barcelona. Yeah, the problem with taking any of the attackers off is it's not like they're getting loads and loads of the ball. I think the reason McFred is picked is because in training, Fred the individual and McTominay the individual are great but don't work well together, says Haz. The reason they're probably being picked is because they probably are the best midfielders we've got. Like, what if Donny can't play there? We know Matic is finished. There's nobody else. So what if they are the best midfield that we've got? Have you ever thought of it like that? You know, we've all got our theories about Donny, and some people even think Matic. But what if they're the best we've got because that's the squad that was assembled by the previous manager? Yeah, he bought a good centre-back. He bought a good winger. He's bought one of the world's best ever players. You know, he spent another 80 million on a centre-back, 50 million on a strike, on a right back, but has he invested in the CDM position? We'll never progress as a team if we keep playing the same bang average midfield and the coward of a captain who never takes accountability, says Julian S. Oh, Greenwood's fouled him. He seems to have hurt himself, but he's all right. We've only got a minute to go till half time here. This is a concern. It's a very big concern at the moment. Going in, I mean, it's an early goal we've conceded as well. I don't know what minute it was we conceded, but Matic plays better every time he plays, says Kush. I think Matic is finished. Mate, I'd have got rid of him in the summer. Well, Callum Wilson's injured here. Unfortunately for Newcastle, he does get injured quite a lot. Mata's not on the bench. Lingard's not on the bench. Martial's not on the bench. Lindelof or Bay are not on the bench either for different reasons. Remember what I said? Newcastle do not keep clean sheets. They've conceded more than any other team in the league at home this season. What's your thoughts on the half, says Zach? Well, I'll be talking about it in a minute. In my opinion, people need to calm down. We haven't had a game in a while, and it's understandable they look rusty, says Cardo. He says we're growing into the game. Ricky says, why would Donny not be selected? Something behind the scenes we're not aware of. I'm failing to understand why these professional footballers are on over 100k a week, cannot pass a bloody ball from A to B. Just terrible, says Steer. If we play like this on Thursday, then Burnley will demolish us, says Yippee. Do you think Donny might not be playing because of Ollie's old influence, or is he shit in training? Why is Donny not playing, says Charles? Don't know. I don't know. Can't answer these questions. I really wish I could, but I don't have the inside track. Is there any part of you, Mark, that thinks Conte might have gotten results a bit sooner than Ranić might do, says Mr. Nobody? I don't know. United were never going to go for Conte. And Kush says, if Matic is finished, then there's a big problem at United because Matic is 10 times the player Fred and McTominay are, says Kush. Another block there from Fred, shot by St. Maximin. I don't care what Fred brings to the defence. He's not good enough on the ball to be a United player, says CM. Look, I'm not saying McTominay's been good. I think he's been okay, but I think he has been better than Fred this half. I mean, Clay says that McTominay's been non-existent, and when he's been in the game, he's played hospital after hospital pass, no capable midfielder on the pitch. I mean, we all see different things. I don't think he's been as bad as Fred, but have we dominated the midfield? No, we've not. Jesus, I think PSG will beat Real Madrid. I think, controversial point as well. I really do think we miss Luke Shaw. I don't think Tellez has been bad, but I actually think Luke Shaw's a better player. So I do think we miss Luke Shaw as well. And I think, look at that. I mean, that's so lucky by Fred. It's a terrible first touch, but luckily Maguire's next to him. Still a couple of minutes left of this first half, but lots of backward passes that I don't think Ranić's going to be particularly happy with. And that's a ball by Bruno that just goes out for a goal kick. It'd be interesting to see if he makes any substitutions at half time. I think Callum Wilson. Well, I think he looks like he's going to play on. Scrappy, 1-0 against Norwich, and 2 weeks later, we're 1-0 down to the 19th ranked team in the league. Is there really anything to be hopeful about? Says Ayush. We never have good control of the ball, says Andrew. I know Ranić talks about control. I don't blame him. Can't trust these players. It's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do at Manchester United, and we knew that. These players ultimately at the moment are just not good enough. I wonder if Callum Wilson's going to have to come off here because he's not getting over it. If that's not a knock, I think he's done. That could be a bit of a positive for United. I suppose they might just give him half time, see if he can come out. Nice little ball. Now whip it, whip it, whip it. Ah. It's horrible performance from Man United. Back to Solskjaer football again, says Davin. And Callum Wilson has gone down here. I don't think he'll be coming out for the second half. What would you say Donny and his agent considers enough to stay at United, especially since Ralph apparently wants to keep him? I think he's got to start games, Charles. He wants to go to the World Cup in a year's time. You don't go to the World Cup playing one game every month and coming on for the last 10. It's got to be starting games. But I think Donny would be having a shit performance in this game as well, unless he was playing in the midfield. Wait till you play us, says Deitch. I think we might actually have a chance against you lot. And looks like Sancho and Cavani will be coming on. Need Donny to come on for Fred, says Jacob. The game will change if we put Cavani on. Don't think we will see any improvement until we replace McFred, says Ricky. And why does Rangnick have to wait until half-time to impose a change in the way we are playing, says Shaf. Callum Wilson has come off. He's very injury-prone, Callum Wilson, isn't he? Murphy comes on for Newcastle. So we've got a lot. I mean, look, we're playing one of the worst teams in the league. They've just lost one of their best players. Still 45 minutes to play. You know, even the announcer said, what's the point of the 4 good attackers if you can't get the ball to them? We are crap today, says Michael Fetty. I think it's half time. I will have to have a toilet break in a moment, but I've got a few minutes to chat to you first. Let me just have a stretch. I would use McTominay as a defender and use Fred and Donny in the midfield, says Faber. I mean, you could do that. The billionaires are clapping them off. I tell you what, that's a shocking performance from Manchester United in that first half. And what are my thoughts on it? It's the same old. I mean, it's not. I can see two sides here. First of all, Ralph Rangnick's style of football is so different from anything we've done in the last 6 years, not just under the last manager, the last 6 years, that you've got to understand that there may well be a real issue in changing the mentality of players that are not used to working hard and moving the ball quickly forward. So, look, people will say, well, Ollie did it in his first 3 months. Ollie came into that club and said, I'm not Mourinho. Go out and enjoy yourselves. And the players just basically played for themselves, and they did well. This is a total reset of the way we're going to play football. And some of these players ultimately are not going to be good enough. The issue we have in every single game is that we don't dominate the midfield. And if you don't dominate the midfield like Liverpool do, Man City do, Chelsea do against these teams, now they don't always win, but they will dominate possession. We don't dominate possession. We haven't got a midfield that can dominate possession because they're not good enough to do it. Now, I don't particularly think they've been dreadful today, but they've not been good enough to play for Manchester United. And every single game, it's very hard to say we're going to beat Norwich 4-0, we're going to beat Newcastle 4-0, because you look at the players that we've got and you go, yeah, we should do. But if you don't win the midfield battle, how are you going to score 4 goals? And we know every game we play, that midfield is capable of losing the midfield battle. If you're Liverpool and you're playing Newcastle, you know it's going to have to be a really weird day for you to lose the midfield battle. But as United fans, we know with our midfield, all right, they might have a decent game. They were decent against Palace, but they might have also been dominated by Palace and it wouldn't be a surprise. Our midfield gives every opposition a chance to win the game because we don't dominate the midfield. And if we don't dominate the midfield, how are we going to get the ball to our front players? We've literally created no big chance in that first half. I can't think of a chance we've created in that first half. And I'm not saying Newcastle have had loads of chances themselves, but they're 1-0 up. If you're going to play a game against Newcastle United, who are relegation form team, and make it an equal game, You can't moan when you're 1-0 down at half time. You can't be playing against teams like this and making it an equal game. And you've got to look at it and say, why is it an equal game? And it's an equal game because we are giving them as much as the ball as we've got. And therefore, it's a bit of a Russian roulette, isn't it? It's about who's going to score first. And they've scored first with the goal. Now, I don't think Varane's played very well. He looks very rusty. He's been out for a long time. Maguire looks his usual uncertain self. I don't personally think the fullbacks have been that good tonight. McTominay and Fred have been, McTominay and Fred. Rashford's been very poor. He always looks bad on the right wing anyway. Bruno, to me, is out of position on the left wing. And Ronaldo and Greenwood are starved. We've got two players in the, normally it's one. We've got two in the graveyard shift today. I don't really like the setup. We've got McTominay and Fred with a lot of the ball, and there's no number 10. So they're trying to hit these 30-yard balls into the feet of Ronaldo and Greenwood. You've then got Bruno basically playing as a left winger and Rashford playing as a right winger. There's no number 10. There's no link-up play. And therefore, most of our half, we've got McTominay and Fred dictating the play. That's like having Ronald McDonald to look after your cow. It's not going to work. It's going to end it's going to be savage at the end of the day, and it has. He picks the midfield, Mark. This is on the coach, says Emmanuel. Yeah, but I keep saying this, Emmanuel. What if they are the best two midfielders we've got? Matic, I don't think, can play an hour. And what if Donny can't play in the midfield? I mean, look, I think he can, but I don't think, what if Gary Neville comes out after this game and says you've got to blame the coach for that? I would say, what a bloody hypocrite, because it's the same midfield that played for the previous manager and you never blamed the manager. It's a difficult job to come in and change the psyche of players that ultimately probably aren't good enough. Now, we've got 45 minutes to get back into this game. I think the important thing for me is what changes he makes. Well, what I would do, and I don't think this will happen, I would take off arguably Fred for Donny and keep McTominay on. But if it's McTominay and Fred stays on, whatever, I would take one of them off and I'd either pull Bruno into the midfield too, or I would pull Donny on. I would take Rashford off for Sancho and I would give 15 more minutes for Greenwood. I would go to a 4-2-3-1. I'd put Bruno back at 10. I'd put Greenwood on the left, Sancho on the right, Ronaldo through the middle. And I'd put Donny next to Fred or McTominay. And then if that's not working, I'd take Greenwood off for Cavani. But 3 subs, but 2 of them need to be made right away. Let's have a look what people are saying anyway. I don't know, but we seem to really be sucking a lot to the point it's not fun. So CGI. Training with intensity. I can't see any intensity at all. I'm glad they're highlighting Harry Maguire on the goal because it's terrible positioning by Harry Maguire. My under 15s midfield is better than this. McFred can't pass. I swear their feet are bent the wrong way, says Sammy. Joel Linton is beating our midfield. Joel Linton, says Paras. We need Donny van der Beek. Fred is solid. Say the truth about McTominay. It's so obvious he's hiding disgrace. No, I'm not having that trending. I think we can all have an agenda. I don't think McTominay's been worse than Fred. I don't think either of them have been very good, but I don't think Fred's been very good today. Mike David says, Fred not good enough, McTominay not good enough. Commentator, who is a Geordie, said he cannot understand why Van der Beek and Matic don't play, says Mike David. Welcome to the Members Club, Druv. Thanks everyone who's watching, by the way. Please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. You can do your player ratings in the second half, but first half, absolutely abysmal. Some might say it's the worst half we've played this season. Look, of course, you've got to give a little bit of leeway to the fact that we haven't played for 2.5 weeks, and a week of that we didn't train. But come on, Newcastle haven't played for 9 days either. This is Manchester United. We still look very disjointed. I will always stand by the fact that when you get a new manager in, you've got to give players a clean slate. I agree with that, but also I think you've got to, when that clean slate has been given, you've got to also start looking at the players again. And unfortunately for some of these players, some of them were playing dreadfully under the previous manager, and they're playing dreadfully again. And we all know who those players are. And I'm not going to start talking about those players at half time, but at full time, I will do. There are certain players that were dreadful under the previous manager and they're dreadful again. What is going on? This is clearly not on the coach. This is the board. Ollie clearly wanted a centre defensive midfielder, and the board didn't listen. Ranić is suffering, says Sean. The midfield pair is horrible. Donny should play, says Suham. McTominay needs releasing after this match. Absolutely useless, says Tom. In January, we need to get a midfielder. Fred and McTominay just aren't what Man United need. I'd be amazed, Marcelino, if we don't get a midfielder, but we need to get 3 points tonight. Hi, Mark. Right on spot. I'm sick of this midfield. It's not working for United. Fred is trying to do some creative pass, but he's not good enough. And I think that's right, United voice. I mean, in fairness to Scott McTominay and Fred, they're just not creative midfielders. You're asking them to do the job of a Jorginho or a Gundogan or a Rodri, and they're not. They're more like a Rodney from Only Fools and Horses. Put Bruno at 8 and bring on Donny at half-time, says Nick Stevens. What was that first half? That wasn't football, says Malps. I'm just going to leave Drawty to read some of these super chats, if that's all right, Drawty. I'm just going to quickly take 30 seconds to have a wee.
Yep, that's fine.
Legend. He'll read your chat. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, super chats. First one coming up is from Cosmic Dave. As bad as we've been all season, can't name one player who comes out with credit. Europa Conference League Varane. Harsh on Varane, but that's fair enough, Dave. Emmanuel Santana says, he picks the midfield, Mark. This is on the coach. I think Ranić's a little bit limited with who we can bring on at the moment. Obviously, Pogba's still injured. You look at the midfield options apart from Donny, there's not much on the bench United can go with at the moment. Luke MUFC says, we ain't getting top 4. These are the games we should be winning. It's not the manager, it's the players. I got to say, Luke, the problem is with United, I think over the last couple of years, they've generally gone out and bought players probably more for marketability than actual functionality on the pitch. Too many attackers, not enough midfielders. That's why we're struggling. Even Bruno's quiet at the moment. You look at that starting 11 there. Fred, McTominay, I'm just going to pause it. Fred, McTominay, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, Greenwood and Ronaldo. There's not enough in the midfield to control the game at the moment. And Goldbridge is right. If you're going to bring on McTominay, Van der Beek for McTominay, that's fine. But then again, Rashford's not done much, so you need to probably bring on Sancho, which I would agree with. And I wouldn't wait for Cavani. I would bring him on straight away. So, and even then, the midfield's still not that strong. It's not like we've got a lot of attacking talent or creativity in the midfield right now. Lee Woolsey says, I don't say this lightly at all, but that was almost as bad as the first half against Liverpool. I think we've been absolutely shocking so far. Got to remember, we're 19th, Newcastle 19th in the league, and this is the standard we're playing right now. It's really not good. And I think you would agree with me, Goldbridge, on that one.
Yeah, no, I do. I think... It's a funny one, really, because when the goal went in, I think I was looking at on Christmas Day. We put the video up of, I think, part 1, part 2 is to come of reactions, best reactions of the season so far, etc. And I think that I've been very reactionary to goals over the last few years, where I've got very angry. And I think that goal just sort of, I don't want to be angry because we've got a new manager in, and I want to give these players a chance. I wasn't surprised when we went 1-0 down, but I didn't feel... I sort of felt shocked, really, But I shouldn't be shocked because it's the same players making the same mistakes. Look, Varane's got to do better. Of course he has. But Harry Maguire's got to go and win the first header. He's the captain of the team. It's the first few minutes of the game. It's a throw-in. You're good in the air. Go and win the header. And if you don't win the header, give the foul up. You're not going to get booked. We lose that header. Varane then loses the ball. And then the next thing, St. Maximin's running at Harry Maguire, making him look like a bag of cement. And we're 1-0 down. And it's like, you're the captain of the club. You've got to show some bloody leadership. I think we're weak mentally. This is why we don't win things. And I think we are slow at the start of games. And I think teams are going to start figuring that out. I think Ranić's job is very, very difficult. But I'll always keep coming back to the fact that I want to see that midfield start dominating games. And we have Paul Ince on the show, who used to play midfield for Manchester United and played it very, very well. And he said games are won and lost in the midfield. And it's very, very true. I used to get told that when I was playing 30 years ago, and I'm talking like under 10s football here. I used to get told you've got to win the midfield battle because everything follows. If you win the midfield battle, that means your defence are protected more. If you win the midfield battle, that means you're getting the ball to your attack more. We don't win enough midfield battles. I think the only midfield battles we've won this season were Spurs away and Leeds at home. And we're at Christmas. That's not good enough. That means every other game, of which there's been nearly 20, well, more than that if you count the Champions League, more than 20 games this season, we've given the opposition an opportunity to win the midfield. And you can't do that. If we continue to performance this badly, do you think this will increase the chances of signing someone in January, says Oz? I think we've got to be looking to buy someone in January regardless, to be honest with you. A bit off topic, but thanks for the Christmas dinner recipe. I got laid on my first date after making that for my date, says Thomas. There you go. Well done. What I don't understand, why you're calling for a formation change. This is our manager's formation. It's clearly the midfield and switch that, says Kevin. Yeah, look, if we had two midfielders who can move the ball quicker, then yeah, okay. Harley says, frustrating first half. Do you think the lack of control in the midfield proves that Ralph enjoys? Harley, I don't know what you're talking about there. Can't read that. With Arsenal and Tottenham on form, winning Champions League might be the only option for us to stay in the Champions League, says Jazz. We've got to win this game in the second half. Probably a good thing United didn't play before Christmas. At least we all got to enjoy the holiday, says Caramel. Look, the way we've performed today is the same performance as Norwich. Would we have beaten Brentford and Brighton that week? I don't think we would have done. You know, so in some ways, it might be beneficial if we can find a way into this game. This side will not make top four. We don't look like ready for this. We need help, says Ja. Will he make changes at half time? That's the big thing. Yeah, well, midfield options. It's either you either fancy Donny or you don't. It's like McFred, but he's bringing Sancho on and Cavani. It's like McFred are being paid to play badly, says Apollo 30X. Cavani and Sancho coming on. We don't know who for. I would imagine Rashford. And they play midfield. So Fred is off. Now, this is interesting. Does that mean you pull Bruno into the midfield? Now, we were talking about that. And Rashford's off. No, Greenwood's off. Rashford survives. Unlucky. It's like McFred being paid to play bad. And not good enough for Iran is equally to blame as Maguire. Well, he's not, Luke. He was a little bit to blame. Thanks, Luke. And no surprise, you can't win the midfield battle. You've got two CDMs, a number 10 and a winger playing at number 10. You literally have no actual midfielders. Says Dylan. This has to change because we've got no chance in battling Tottenham and Arsenal if we play like this. I fancy us to come back and win this now. Because I think Cavani, I said it, if you get Cavani on, I think we'll win this game. He brings some intensity. Now, let's see how we're going to play in this game now. We've got, we are 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 seconds into the game. Now, just give me a minute. I've just got to adjust to see what we're doing here. So we've got Cavani and Rashford. Rashford's gone to the left. I mean, basically, he's just pushing his fullbacks really far forward. McTominay's playing with Bruno. I mean, it's a nice ball here. St. Maximin's up against Varane. Varane is rapid. He's all on his own. And it's Bruno coming back. That's a bad ball by Bruno. So McTominay and Fred, Fred's off, which I agree with. I thought Fred was worse than McTominay. Bruno's playing next to McTominay. Rashford's gone to the left. Sancho on the right. Cavani and Bruno up. Sorry, Cavani and Ronaldo up front. Charles says, if you were in the United board, what one player would you realistically sign in January? I don't know, Charles. I mean, you're asking people who don't know anything about football to go and pick a player. If I was the United board, I'd say, Ranić, who do you want? We'll go and get them. Oh, dear me. What a save by De Gea. Oh, St. Maximin should score. Quack, 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 says Luke S. But that is a wonder save by De Gea, but it should be 2-0. I need to see that again. What a save by De Gea. United down that left-hand side. A cross came in. It looked like a tap-in for St. Maximin. De Gea seemed to do some sort of crazy low dive. And we'll see a replay in a minute. But already, Bruno, I like Bruno in this position. He's already a lot more involved. I mean, whether McTominay can run this midfield or not is a big question. But how did he miss, says Romario. Face it, Rashford gets a free pass because he has a knighthood, says Plop. Some people might be saying you're talking shit. Save of the century. Well, sometimes you see those sort of saves first time and you think they are save of the century. It might not be, but we haven't seen it back yet. But it looked an amazing save. McTominay looks knackered. Look at him. He's just walking around there. He looks tired. Bruno with the cross. Oh, Cavani. Come on, lads. Got proper players on the pitch now. Cavani and Sancho. Tellez. Come on. Come on, lads. Rashford. Fullbacks are pushing really far forward now. They're like wingers. Here's Rashford. Shoots from distance. I mean, it forces a save, but I've got to be honest. Only a twat's going to get beat from there. Look at where Rashford is. I mean, it's got dip. It's got swerve. He's got to watch it, but I personally think this is a waste of time. I mean, we get a corner from it, but it takes something a bit special to score from there. Anyway, corner, Tellez. Headed away. Late off, Sancho. The low. I'll go for a throw-in. White House has got no time for Rashford today. I'd sign a midfielder in relation to that super chat on the screen there. Here it is. Oh, no, it's a fantastic save by De Gea. I mean, St. Maximin should score. He definitely should score. It should be a little tapping into the bottom corner, but it's still a fantastic save by De Gea. There's no doubt that it was a tap-in, though. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. 40 minutes to go here. Even a draw would be really disappointing tonight. We've got to find that first goal and then go and get the second. We've got to win this game. I don't care if it's 2-1. 3 points is what matters. Harry Maguire, nice ball out to Delo. Should have played that first time into Sancho. The pass was on. Free kick to United. Bruno will take it. Quickly played to Delo, won't be allowed. I don't know. I mean, look, I think I'll talk about it in the match reaction. I think the Donny situation is quite interesting because we've played shit in the first half and he's still not in the first two substitutions. Does he have a future at Manchester United when you play as bad as that and he still doesn't bring him on to change the game? He goes with Sancho and Cavani. I mean, it's not for now. It's maybe for one on a future show. But he values Donny van de Beek, but he doesn't value him enough to bring him on when you could literally bring him on in 4 or 5 positions, and he still doesn't bring him on. Mark, I think it is time to sell Rashford before everyone else realises he's not much better than Dan James, says Brad Lewis. Well, I don't need to comment on Rashford. I think Rashford's getting a lot of stick in general from a lot of people at the moment. 40 minutes to go. The main thing is that we win this game of football by hook or by crook. Come on. Nice play by Rashford into Ronaldo. Goes back for the free kick. I mean, Rashford looks a little bit better off the left-hand side. I think he never performs well off the right. And the midfield too has been better since Bruno's gone in there. City will win the league, says Ace the Gamer. Well, it's not a hard prediction. Here we go. Sancho. No. Xander, welcome to the Members Club. Appreciate that. I don't think United would ever sell Rashford, to be honest with you. Just wanted to say, screw dating apps, got my heart broken over the holidays. Man United ain't helping my heart either, says Sinner. 2022 is your year, mate. Keep your head up. Well, United have been better the second half, but let's be honest, it should be 2-0. We've still not had a chance where we can go, yes, that was the chance. And Newcastle did. So, you can't argue about that. Varane's in trouble here. Look at the pressing from Newcastle. Varane's in all sorts of trouble, but wins the throw-in. There are too many players in this team who the myth of what they are exceeds the reality of them. This is why we're stuck in limbo, says Brad Lewis. And how was your Christmas, Mark, says Ace the Gamer? Good, thank you. Really enjoyed it. Was really enjoying it until 8 o'clock tonight, actually. Still time left, but we're missing Pogba, says Simeon. I think we've got to stop making excuses, Simeon. We were shit with Pogba in the team as well. You can't be a one-man team in modern football. So to say that we're missing one player is ridiculous. All the best teams in the world play as teams. Here's Sancho with a bit of time. That needed to go first time to Ronaldo. He's still got it. Cavani. Good ball. Good ball. Gives him the thumbs up. Lovely ball by Bruno, though. Playing more centrally, gets the ball wide to Sancho. And that's the difference. That is the difference between Fred and McTominay and Bruno in the midfield. You put a player in there like that who can actually switch the play quickly, and you end up with a chance, probably our best chance of the game, arguably. And that all comes because you've got Bruno in one of them midfield 2 positions who can hit that ball. Surely that was a foul. No, he's not giving it. You know what? I know people prefer Delo and Tellez to Wan-Bissaka and Shaw, but I think the fullbacks could have done a bit more today as well. What is that by Harry Maguire? What is that? Is that just about, we're not playing rugby? Oh, I've won a free kick right near the corner flag. Shit. You've had a shit game, Harry. You're the captain of the fucking club and you've played shite. Fucking ridiculous. This just mythbusters. We have been now for years a championship level midfield effectively since Herrera went, says Brad Lewis. Oh my Christ. Harry Maguire. Oh, he did have a 10-yard head start over them, or he would have been in trouble. Well played, Tellez. And then his first touch is terrible. They leave the ball behind. And Ronaldo. He's going to book Ronaldo. Rusty, what have we been doing for the last couple of weeks, says Mott. Well, I think it was a foul on Tellez first. And Ronaldo just tries to kick the ball out of play and gets booked. Just tries to kick the ball away. How can you get booked for that? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The referee's a wanker. I've heard it said before many, many times. Should have been a foul on Tellez. and Ronaldo gets booked for trying to kick the ball. Ref is shit. Well, he's got another sub to make here. I don't think he'll take McTominay off. I don't see where he can get Donny on. Rashford, mate. Well, no, I don't think. I don't think we'll see Donny tonight. I don't see where he can bring Donny on now. Our players didn't give Ranić honeymoon period at all. I'm so angry with them for that. Great point, yeah. Half an hour against Crystal Palace. That's all they gave him. They gave Ollie 3 months. Maybe because he's not their mate. Donny for Rashford. Yeah, but you know what? They love McTominay's height and they love Rashford's pace. Tobias says McTominay's playing good. Fisher said it should have been a red. Maximum's better than Rashford, says Juicy Fruit Hayes. Oh, so Maximum's probably been the best player on the pitch, you know. Ilyas says, never a red. If you can't contest 50-50 without studs showing as well, then there's clearly something wrong, says Ilyas. We've got our Ranić in a twist. It's a simple chess indeed. We should have known this will take a long time for Ralph to get us back to where we should be. Not as long as Arsenal, but could take years, says Bradley. Well, he's only here for 6 months, Bradley. I think if they were looking for that long, then you know, why get somebody in for 6 months that's going to take years to get the job done? Well, you know, United bored as usual. $57. Oh, here we go. Good tweet that. Ref is shite and so are we so far. But we should be 2-0 down this half. We've still not, I mean, apart from that Cavani chance, not really created anything. See, Rashford's held onto the ball for too long here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Get him off. Get Rashford off. I mean, he'd probably score a goal, but bloody hell. Rashford is an amazing player when at his best, but he just doesn't look hungry. In a side-by-side comparison, St. Maxim looks starving, says Daniel. There are those players who said they wanted to win the Champions League and FA Cup this season. Delusional Rovid said no, O'Kane. The core of the squad is the problem and has been since Van Gaal and Mourinho. The same players are the problem now. They think they are much better than they are. Is there really anything Ranić can do with this lot? I don't think so. Says give it to Mikey. Ollie took over a team with Mourinho muscles memory. Ranić took over a team with Ollie muscle memory, says Andre. It seems the players are unhappy with the high intensity training. Had it too easy under Ollie, almost as if they are protesting, says Dean Corbett. But you know what? If we don't get a win after this, my match reaction will be something I didn't expect to be doing so soon into the Ranić era. I'm going to lose it. I know what I'm going to say, and I'm going to lose it because I think this is a disgusting performance. And I think that it's very clear where the blame lies. Harry Maguire is generally nothing. Even on a good day, he's barely average, says Darren T. Once per game, he punts it clean out with all the time in the world. Still half an hour to go, but if this is a team trying to win the game, God help us. Go on, Delo. Bruno. Too easy for Shelby, and they're away again. It's a 2v2. Nice little ball. Good save, De Gea. You'd expect him to make that save, to be honest. This game is starting to stretch now. St. Maximin would be running Aaron Wan-Bissaka like this, and the team is unbalanced. Says Dan Harding. Here's Rashford. You see, that looks like it's a good run, but ultimately he's got to play the pass. He's trying to run past 4 or 5 players again. I said it once and I'll say it again. Rashford is a glorified Welbeck with a knighthood and a doctorate, says Plop. And unless we change out the call, we're going to rinse and repeat. Losing doesn't hurt enough for way too many of these imposters, says Brad Lewis. And this is absolutely dire. Clear to see it's not just management issue. These players are just not up to it. What happened to Bruno? I think Tom G, I think Bruno's been better since he's gone into the midfield. Definitely been better since we've put him into the midfield. He's getting on the ball more. The blame lies with the players, Kyle. They've been a bloody disgrace today. I think I may have lost any hope of this team. What is happening? This does not seem like a team that wants to win anything. There is no hunger. That was from Kishichi Sinner. Probably pronounced that wrong. Sorry. Delay with the foul. Stuart Bates saying, honestly, if you didn't know, you'd think this was Ollie's team. And that's scary, isn't it? Some people saying Rashford should have got a penalty. Rashford should have passed the ball. Yeah, it looks good when he goes past one player, but there's 4 players there. He's never going to go through 4 players. He's got to pass the ball. He just doesn't make the right decisions at the moment. It's a shot from 40 yards, or it's trying to take on too many players. Pass the fucking ball. Why is Telles tucking in on that chance? This is Ollie ball again. I'm losing my mind, says Jacob. I mean, at the moment, there's always time to win this game. But yet again, like Norwich, Newcastle deserves something here and should be 2-0 up. Good save De Gea again. It's St. Maximum. He's run rings around United today. De Gea man of the match again, says Nigel Green. Yeah. Ayush says the look on Ranić's face when he's 1-0 down is giving me serious Moyes vibes. Joel Linton under Howe is dangerously good, says Maldini. And time to move on from Rashford, Martial, Fred, McTominay and Maguire. We will never win. That group will win us nothing, says Brad Lewis. And Bruno has to come onto the midfield. Fred off for Donny, Cavani for Rashford, says Christopher. Joel Linton's been very good for them as well. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Why is our director of football on the bench? Jokes, says Matthew D. This season is mentally challenging, says Dan. Very sloppy all over the pitch. What's happened to this pressing, attacking football? We're all over the place, says Sean Turner. And Rashford has been getting a pass since 2019, says Sky. Yeah, just put them up, yeah. Because if they're there, then when I'm talking, at least they're there, aren't it? Yellow card here again. Newcastle moaning about it. We make relegation teams look like Man City, says Brad Lewis. Harry Maguire's just been booked again. He must be missing a game soon. He always gets booked. Got more bookings than a travel lodge. Nobody makes any runs. Everybody just stands there and waits. How can these players not know that they have to create openings for each other? Pathetic, says Frederick. And we are not winning this, are we? I mean, Surish, it's funny. I'm sure we're all starting to think the same thing. But with 20 minutes to go, you're starting to think, will we even get a draw out of this? Messages. Disappointing. You're going to lose it. What Jay going to be like? Worst performance I've seen in a long while. I don't know who's on the fan forum actually after my match reaction, but player ratings will be coming out, and they'll be coming out very soon. We can mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. You're going to lose it. What Jay? Yeah, we've done that from Lee Taylor. My point was Ralph will need years in the front office. Good manager, better players, better mindset in games. Will probably not make Champions League next year, says Bradley. I can't understand how Donny van der Beek would want to stay at United at the moment. I know it's early days, but in a game like this, you would expect to be on the pitch. And even if he brings him on now, it's only 20 minutes. This is a disgrace. Not one player has turned up. Some of these players need to leave, including some of the so-called superstars, says Ryan. Has been team just a marketable company. The board needs to be gone, says John. Hello? Goal! Oh, he's blocked it. Goal! Yeah! Come on, Ish! We'll have some of that. Let's go and get the win. Cavani, 1-1. Delo put a good cross in. He should have scored from the first one. He does score from the second one. It's 1-1, and it comes from Delo. It's another raking ball from... it's Bruno. Lovely ball from Bruno out to Delo, who delivers a really good cross to Cavani, who hits it first time. Deserved to score with the first one. Second one, a little bit fortuitous, but he deserved it with the first one. It's a lovely goal. Bruno to Delo to Cavani, and then, yes, 1-1 Manchester United. We deserve that. We don't deserve the goal. Well, look, we deserve the goal from the way the game played. You would never, ever, ever get that pass from McTominay or Fred to the fullback from the midfield. And that's been the difference. Bruno Fernandes coming on and making a difference, coming into the midfield and making a difference. Oh, he's done him again. Fucking Maguire on toast. St. Maximim's had Maguire on toast today. Literally. The chef said, do you want beans on toast? He said, no, I'm going to have Harry Maguire on toast. He's absolutely made him look like a pub defender. But it's still 1-1. And it could have been 2-1 to Newcastle again there. Robbo says the players have been an embarrassment. Ralph being stuck with this lot is really hard to work instant miracles with. And George says this team is more passionate about getting fouls than actually trying to score goals. It's shocking. The amazing thing would be if we go on and win this game, and I really hope we do, it would be very similar to Norwich again. Newcastle deserves something from this game, but I don't care. Got to win. We've got to win. Lovely ball by Bruno to Delo and a lovely cross by Delo. Yeah, interesting there from Alex Jones. He said, how long would it be before this team drags Bruno down to their level? But it's that bit of quality from Bruno that makes, well, gets the ball out to Delo. And the interesting thing about that is that that comes from an area that normally would be McTominay or Fred, and that they wouldn't know how to do that. Great job, Delo. Cavani's still one of the more important players in the team. United will go for this now. We've got 20 minutes. Cavani will give intensity. Don't make me laugh. He wants to leave, says Andy McManus. Oh, just scored, Andy. Just scored. Right, interesting last 18 minutes now. Get the win and get out of Newcastle. That's what I say. You can do your player ratings. I'm going to drop the link in the video description. If you want to be one of the early birds, you can mark every player out of 10, 6 being your average. Star for your man of the match. That is in the link in the video description now. Or you can wait a few minutes and do it towards the end of the game. But it is out there for you now. Of course, some of the players have already gone off. So if you want to get in there and start doing them early, links in the video description. And we'll be covering that in the match reaction. Newcastle are going to make a sub. Almiron is going to come on for Fraser. How on earth can we let Cavani go? I don't know who is in charge of it, but they should be at Cavani's doorstep. I don't think he will go, Jacob. I think Martial's obviously they're going to try and move Martial on. I don't think we will end up moving on Cavani unless he absolutely demands it. But Newcastle have had chances to put this game to bed. That chance for St. Maximum right at the start of the second half. It was a great save by De Gea, who's arguably been our man of the match. But I've liked Bruno in the midfield. I mean, Tellez, goal! Oh, Cavani just didn't get enough on it. Lovely cross by Tellez. Big chance. It's a lovely cross by Tellez. It's a lovely cross by Tellez. And Cavani really probably doesn't think it's coming across to him. But it did, Cavani. It did. You should have finished it. I'm just happy Martial, Pogba and Donny are not involved in this shit show because they will get getting the blame, says Biggie Third. Don't understand how Tellez plays over Shaw. He's useless at defending, says Michael. And how on earth can we... Yeah, we've done that one. Thanks for all the super chats. Give Alanga a run a game, says Winter Archer, in Rashford's place. Yeah, I mean, Rashford's not been great. He'll probably get the winner, though. I think that's why he's still on the pitch. Just got to push now. 15 minutes. Find the winner. It's a 90-minute game. Matic on for McTominay's not a bad idea, actually, Sean. Maguire only plays well in a defensive setup. As soon as he's forced higher up, his defensive ability is exposed, says Finn. Um, 15. I'd say half 10. Rashford on the left. Terrible first touch. I mean, he's done really well, Rashford, today. Really well to stay on the pitch. I still wouldn't put it past Newcastle winning it. Delo defensively there is not great, but De Gea comfortably catches it. Come on. What a ball by Bruno, that nearly is. Problem with the Shaw is he gets turned just as much as Tellez does as fullback. Matic is coming on. Well, I've just put a tweet out there about Bruno. I think it's very easy to say, oh, Bruno's a crap player, this, that, and the other. But I think he's made the difference in this second half. I'm not saying we've been good in the second half, but we have created more chances. And a lot of that's come down to Bruno. McTominay's coming off for Matic. This could be important. This could be an important substitution because Matic can do 10 or 15 minutes. We need a win. We need to find the win here. Matic has done it before. He's come on late on to get us a win against West Ham. I think Bruno's been really good second half. And to be fair, it wasn't. Somebody said it in the chat about 20 minutes into the first half. Drop Bruno into the midfield and, you know, get him to get the play going because he's not getting the ball in the attack to it. It's a nice little ball. He's over it, the pass there. Sancho, fucking hell. Fucking hell, Sancho. Can't afford to be misplacing passes in the last 12 minutes. This can either be a really, really important late win or it's going to be a shitty draw. Can't be drawing away to Newcastle. I don't think any team in the top 6 is going to draw away to Newcastle this season. It's 2 points dropped at a time where we need to be winning. Come on, Rashford. Just pass it. Oh, look at him trying to take people on again. That's it. Get the pass in. Here's Ronaldo. Into Rashford. First time cross. Yes, see? That's better. Do that more often. You're pinging again. Player ratings is in the video description. Link, mark every player out of 10, 6 being average. Star for your man of the match. And please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We are live every morning at 10 o'clock. And we have the 8 o'clock show every night as well. And we've got watch-alongs. So get involved with the United Stand and transfer windows opening up in a week. So hopefully we'll buy a midfielder. We're desperate for one. Matic is now dropping it. We've got 10 minutes here. This is Newcastle very much happy for a point here, aren't they? I mean, they've only got 10 points. They'd love another one. Bruno sort of played like the quarterback. Nice ball into Ronaldo. And there's just such a massive difference between Bruno playing in that position and oh, lovely cross by Sancho. And I thought Cavani was going to get there on the front post. Mark, we need to sign Kamara, says United fans. And I really wanted Ralph Rangnick, and I'm not writing him off. But this team isn't playing any better than under Ollie, says Harry. Lovely ball by Harry Maguire. Ronaldo. I need to pass here. That's it. Bruno. Lovely ball into Sancho. Cross it first time, for fuck's sake. What's he doing, Sancho? There, he was offside anyway. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bruno has just took over that midfield and started playing passes that McTominay and Fred could never play. You know, we've got to, I think we're going to have to take one of them out and just play one of them in future because we created nothing in the first half. Absolutely nothing. And in the second half, we've not been brilliant second half. I think Newcastle have had chances as well. But Kieran Wilson says McTominay was good. Mate, I wouldn't give him a 6. How was he good? What did he do that some championship midfielder couldn't do? He got the ball. He played it side to side. He got skipped past loads. Fred was bloody atrocious today. Don't start telling me Scott McTominay was good. If you think Scott McTominay was good, you need to go and support Maidstone United. There are standards at this football club. He wasn't fucking good. Newcastle should have won this game. They've dominated the midfield until Bruno's come on and given us something different. It's been a very, 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 very equal battle in that midfield. And if you think a Man United midfielder is good because they get the ball and play it side to side, you're fucking lost. You're absolutely lost. You belong on a fucking ocean. I can't believe I'm getting into a debate about underperforming United players when we're drawing 1-1 still. Newsflash, slow sports news. It's still 1-1, you fucking idiots. It's 1-1. And you're telling me we've got players who played well. Remove your head from your ass and wake up. We're drawing 1-1 and you're giving out good performances for people. There's nobody who's had a bloody good game out there. It's a shambles performance. We're drawing to Newcastle. Until we win this game, and we might not, that's a bloody shambles. Where are your expectations? In your bloody pants fucking draw? Rubbish. This is a rubbish performance. And you're telling me people have played well? Look at the chances Newcastle have had. We'll nick this game if we win it. I don't bloody deserve to win it. Where's the evidence? It's been a shambles performance. I just don't know where the standards of some of our fans have gone. It's like Norwich. We didn't deserve to beat Norwich, but we did. I don't think we deserve to beat Newcastle. De Gea's my man of the match. Eric says McTominay was non-existent before he subbed. I thought he was better than Fred. I would have took Fred off at half-time. I think Ranić got that right. Ruben Neves would do exactly what Bruno is doing in a deeper role right now. Imagine having him and Bruno playing ahead of him. Chances everywhere, says Luke Wynn. We've just got to get hold of that midfield. Got to get hold of that midfield. If you want to do your player ratings, by the way, if you disagree or you do agree, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Link is in the video description. We'll go through that on the match reaction. But I think this game could go either way now. It's not like we're pushing for the win. I think it could go either way. Good tackle by Varane. Come on. Play the ball. What? First time. Oh, fucking hell, Rashford. Play it. Play it. Go on. Play it. Play it. Oh, for fuck's sake, Sancho. That's 5 passes this half now. 5 passes this half. 5 times he's had a simple pass to play and he's misplaced it. Ronaldo's fuming. So am I. So am I, Ronaldo. Nearly called him Rihanna. Bruno's trying to hit worldy passes now. They've had more shots than us on target, 7-4. We've had 71% possession. Time's running out. Time is running out here now. You can dress this up how you like. You can put makeup on it. This is a crap result if it stays 1-1. Five minutes to go. It's a cracking result for Newcastle. Eddie Howe will be loving it. Come on. Take a touch, Rashford. It's that care with the pass, you know. We've seen it from Sancho tonight. We've seen it from Rashford a lot. It's that care with the final pass. It's just the wrong weight, the wrong angle, and it costs you seconds. That's better. That's nice. Bruno's trying to thread it through. Second balls. Now it's Newcastle coming away with it. We should be all right. Who's watching Shelby? Oh, my God. What are we doing here? This is Newcastle on the attack. Oh, he's at the post. Oh, what a save by De Gea. What a save by De Gea. We're so bloody lucky. People are telling me we've played well. You're talking out your ass. You're talking out of your ass. Your breath stinks of shit. It's bloody rubbish, this, from United. Absolute crap. What I say, they hit the post and then De Gea pulls out another worldie. Fucking hell. Just, we deserve to lose this. De Gea man of the match again. We deserve to have lost this. We deserve to have lost this game. Really, really, really shit from United. I've got to be honest. Well, Angela says this will be the last time we see McTominay and Fred. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look, I said it after the Norwich game. They deserve to beat us. I've got to say, I think Newcastle deserve to beat us tonight. They should have took their chances. A better team would have beat us tonight. Norwich couldn't finish. Newcastle have been better, but haven't really had that quality. Sancho again losing possession. His passing's been abysmal. He's not played well, Sancho. We're in trouble again. Newcastle are looking more and more like winning this. Maguire, a bit lucky there. I mean, he just completely blocks him off. Bruno, brilliant defense. You see, Bruno's a bloody number 10. He's just made a brilliant tackle there. Bloody hell. I'm going to lose my shit in the match reaction. I'm fed up of these players. Clean slate my arse. You've had your clean slate now and you've shit on it. Absolute bloody twats. And they think this is good enough. They think this is good enough. We're making a relegation team look great. Too many players being paid way more than they should be, and zero hunger, says Brad Lewis. I want to know who is ordering Ranić to start. Rashford says give it to Mikey. Missed the first half, but Varane has looked terrible. Well, you know, Uncle Drew, I don't think Varane's played well. I think you're right. I don't think he has played well, but, you know, Lindelof's got COVID. Apparently Eric Bailly's gone to the AFCON already. Get it wide, get it wide. Oh, Sancho again! 6! His passing's terrible. He's wearing a bloody blindfold. What's wrong with Sancho tonight? Oh, just don't believe it. Come on, one chance for Ronaldo. He's not had a chance all night. At this point, if my maths is correct, we don't win the Champions League. Next season is a welcome back to the Europa League, says Anxel. 6 minutes added on. Come on, surely we can create a chance. Newcastle have had their chances. They might get another one. Oh, my God. Coming forward again here. They've got an overlap. Varane clears it. They want a handball. Not going to get it. Mark, you saying they think it's good enough? I don't think it's that. Rather, they don't care, says Brad Lewis. At this point, and we've done that one. Thanks for the super chats tonight. I mean, I didn't expect this tonight. I really didn't expect this tonight. That's never a handball by Varane. He's on the edge of the box anyway, and it's never a handball. I'm more concerned that we equalised, 15 minutes ago, and we've still not managed to score, you know, really create a chance. It's not in the box, so it wouldn't be a penalty anyway. Newcastle have wanted it more. They've won more 50-50s. They've passed better. They've pressed better. They've been more energetic. Not sure if we're playing against Newcastle or prime Juventus, says the contrarian. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We've got Burnley on Thursday. We've got our match reaction straight after this. Player ratings, link in the video description. That's going to be fun because I'm going to be very honest against these players. I wouldn't even know this is a Ralph Rangnick side. These players have just played the same old shit they've always been playing. They ain't following orders here. This ain't different. This is the same shit repackaged. Why is Rashford on the pitch is a very good point. You've got to put that on the coach. I don't know why Rashford's still on the pitch. Donny van der Beek is valued, but can't get 1 minute in a game like this. Oh, mistake. Give it to Cavani. Oh, what the fuck is that? Three minutes to go. I mean, to be honest, the team that looks most likely to score for the last 10 minutes is Newcastle. Keeping error here. I hope he makes changes for the Burnley game, because this is you can't pick the same 11 again. This is shit. Really, really bad. I can't believe people have said that certain players have played well when we've drawn with Newcastle and they deserve to win and they've had more shots on goal. How can anybody come out of this game with a good performance? They're in a bloody joke. This is a relegation side and they've played better than us, just like Norwich did last time we played. Can we just accept some of these players are just not good enough? I think that's the whole truth and nothing but the truth, Mario. Two minutes to go. He's booking someone now, the ref. Slow it down a bit more. Why don't you? I'd take any win. We don't deserve to win, but we need 3 points. I mean, it's just not going to happen now, is it? Players are a joke, says Phil Johnson. Callum, thank you for the super chat. And Mark Hope. Slip him in, Sancho. Play a pass. He's got to give the foul. Edge of the box. Cavani. Oh, he's offside. Fuck off, you dickhead. You're a prat. Offside. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so bloody frustrating. The crap we've been subjected to tonight. What's the excuse? It's the players. They're just not good enough. They need an absolute rocket. They got protected under Ollie because he was such a bad coach. They've played the same under a new manager who's been here now, training them for 2 or 3 weeks. They're a shambles. Some of these players are not fit to wear the shirt, and they are a shambles, and they need a rocket up the arse. It's about time the fans started calling these players out. They're living the life of Riley. Fucking social media this, social media that. You're not good enough, and you need to be told you're not good enough because you're not responding to it. You've been played off the park by Norwich and Newcastle. Absolute jokers. That's it. 1-1. Bloody joke. Absolute shite. Rashford is just not the same player anymore. I'm fuming, Will. I'm absolutely fuming. And I will take it into the match reaction because I'm frigging fuming with that. Terrible performance from Manchester United. Didn't deserve a point. Didn't deserve a point. Player ratings, link in the video description. I'm going to go straight over to the match reaction. We've also got the fan forum as well. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I'll tell you what, there won't be many 6s. I'll see you over there in a minute. Thanks everyone for watching the watch along, and I'll see you on the match reaction. And to be honest, a few home truths for the players because it needs to get through. You ain't good enough. You're not good enough to wear the shirt. You're a bloody shambles. Rich, overpaid, bloody myth busters. You're not good enough, and you're going to get named.